Well. I had to do the late show tonight. I mean, I have certain things I have to do on Sunday. But nevertheless, some of y'all will catch this on the replay. And you will catch my analysis of today's playoff games. It was a wild Sunday. And again, at least to me, another shocking loss. I was shocked today. And I have to admit, and the other game that I predicted to be a smashing, it was way closer than I ever imagined it would be. But we're going to look at the Baltimore Ravens, Buffalo Bills. We're going to look at the Philadelphia Eagles. We're going to look at the Philadelphia Eagles, Los Angeles Rams game. Both of them crazy, incredible. And I am definitely not going to gloat as much as saying I told you so, simply because the games were just hard fought. And I can appreciate anytime a game is hard fought. Richard Owens, what's up? Purple Soul, y'all the late night folks. Jared Thomas, what's going on? Jared, hey, we're going to have a conversation about Lamar Jackson. We're going to have a conversation about Lamar Jackson. We are. Miss Matrix in the crib. What's going on? Miss Matrix. Yeah, let me get into your comments since y'all the early birds. I kind of got the games pulled up, and we'll jump into those in just a moment. But since y'all the early birds, and we only got 12, so we have 12 or 1,200. We still going to talk football tonight. And everyone else, they can catch this in the early morning. Wow. Wilson Santiago, what's going on? He said, what's up, people? He said, unfortunately, the weekend is over. That's all right. We got another one to look forward to. What up, Richard Owens? Purple Soul again in the crib. She says, I was waiting. Oh, man, I had stuff to do. I wanted to get on earlier, but I couldn't. Jared. We're going to have to talk about Lamar Jackson, and we'll talk about him second. I got so many emotions about the Baltimore Ravens game. I just have so many emotions about it. So many emotions. And we're going to talk about Lamar Jackson in a moment. It was never going to be a smashing because of how much better of a thrower as Stafford is than Hurts. Hurts is due to get exposed eventually by a top 2 quarterback in the Super Bowl. Well, I tell you this. As long as Jalen Hurts, and don't get it twisted, Jared. If you go back and look at Jalen Hurts in 2022, he was similar in those early games in the playoffs. But when that joker got to the Super Bowl, he literally accounted for almost all of the yards. But we're going to see. We are definitely going to see. But I tell you this, Jalen Hurts is limping into this thing. And I'm interested to see how does he show up on the injury report. What's up, Michael James? He says NFL rigged, man. Well, the only game I think that I couldn't see anything else. Only game that I thought was rigged the entire weekend was the Kansas City Chiefs. These other ones look pretty good. But I know what you're probably talking about. We'll talk about that in a moment. Jose Quevedo, what's going on? People say that Dak is a choke artist. What is Lamar Jackson? We're going to have a talk about Lamar Jackson. We're just going to have a talk about Lamar Jackson. We are. Got to have a talk about him. Media folks blaming Mark Andrews. No. They want to blame Mark Andrews because they have to do that to justify Lamar Jackson having as many MVPs as he have playoff wins. Nah, this wasn't a Andrews issue. This wasn't a Mark Andrews issue. Excuse me. He was a part of the issue. He wasn't the main issue. He was a part of the issue. So let's go to the Philadelphia Eagles game. I want to look at this game since it was the early game. Here we go. The Philadelphia Eagles game was very interesting. The Philadelphia Eagles They stuck to the formula. And I keep telling y'all the formula. The Philadelphia Eagles are sticking to the formula. We can love it, hate it, like it. The formula. 25 throws. I say 25 throws maximum. You need to be hovering in the 25, the threshold of about 25 to 20 or 25 to maybe 27, 28. To me, if I see that on your stat line, I know you probably won the game. If I see that you threw the ball 40 times in a playoff game, my guess is you were playing from behind. You're playing from behind because the other quarterback don't have those numbers. So you're playing from behind, and you either made some miraculous comeback, but more than likely you lost. So let's go to the numbers here just immediately on the Los Angeles Rams game. And I'm telling you, Matthew Stafford, as good as he is at throwing the ball, this is not something that you want to make a living of doing against the Philadelphia Eagles. You do not want to make a living doing that against the Philadelphia Eagles because eventually, you're going to have to pay the piper. And Philadelphia, when they struck big. Philadelphia struck big in the third quarter. I mean, they turned him over not once, but twice. They turned him over twice, and they turned those two turnovers into 9 points. The field goal kicker almost put that game at risk because the Rams on that last drive, I just knew they were going to go. I just knew they were going to come down and score. But if you look at Matthew Stafford, I'm telling you, this is the tale of the game. This is the tale of the game. Matthew Stafford was 26 of 44. I don't care who you are. 44 times throwing the ball is way too many. 44 times of throwing the ball is way too many. Now, I thought Matthew Stafford had an interception. No. He turned the ball over, and then they turned the running back over. So they got the two turnovers like that. I forgot about that. So they got two turnovers. Matthew Stafford, 2 touchdowns. Completion percentage, 59%. 97.2 rating, 7.4. The fumble by the running back, backbreaker. The fumble by Matthew Stafford, backbreaker. Both of them. Both of them came in inopportune moments. Backbreaker. And if you look at the box score, you might think that Nakua had a great day. He had a great quarter. Problem is he didn't have a great day. They almost had the clamps on Nakua almost the whole game. Almost. And then right there at the end, I'm going to tell you what I think happened. When the Philadelphia Eagles got up like 28 to 15 or 16 or whatever it was, I think they thought the game was over. I really think they thought the game was over, and it was just about, okay, we'll stop him and run the clock out, and then Matthew Stafford runs this 2-minute offense, and I'm like Chris Collinsworth. I think they started the 2-minute offense way too late. The Rams should have been in 2-minute mode in the fourth quarter immediately. It shouldn't have took to the time point that they got it there. But when they got it going, it was almost like they got it going. But I'm telling y'all, I'm going to give, I'm not going to gloat. I'm going to give the Rams all kinds of credit. I got to give the Rams credit, man. Sean McVay and this team are back. They are back. They are a couple of players. Man, the NFC, Jerry Jones is on notice. The NFC is about to be insane. The Rams have made a 180 mid-season. You look at what their defense did. I could not believe they did it. They got 1 sack, 3 sacks, 4 sacks, 5 sacks, 6 sacks, 7 sacks. If you tell me that the Los Angeles Rams got 7 sacks on Jalen Hurts, I'm blown away. Bravo to them. Bravo. I can't even front. The Los Angeles Rams defensive front is scary. It is absolutely scary. It is. It's scary what they can do to quarterbacks. Now, let's keep in mind, Jalen Hurts, in particular, once he got the knee bent all the way back, he was a sitting duck. It was just hardly nothing that he could do. And I was like, the safety, oh man, the safety was crazy. They got back there so quick he couldn't even move. Couldn't even move. Los Angeles Rams defense, y'all. I got to give it to them. Them boys played a heck of a game. They played a heck of a game. And I'm telling y'all, we need to understand that I'm telling y'all, you can say anything you want to about Jalen Hurts. But I appreciate how the Eagles won. Because I've told y'all before, and I'm going to tell you again. They can win all kinds of ways. You want it down and dirty? They'll do it down and dirty. You want a finesse game every now and then? They'll give you a finesse game every now and then. Not a lot. They'll give you a finesse game every now and then. They can control the offensive line and they can control the defensive line. And the main thing is, when it counted, Philly's defense, when it counted, Philly's defense, they rose to the occasion. They rose to the occasion. The Philly defense, everybody say Saquon Barkley. No. Saquon Barkley was a huge part, but that defense, the turnovers, and they were forced turnovers by the pressure they was putting on that offense the whole day. And when it got down to the end, boy, they rose to the occasion. They did. And the funny thing is, people talk about this stuff like the weather and how that's an advantage to the home team. That weather affected both teams. Saquon Barkley is not Derrick Henry. Saquon Barkley is a very shifty back. And when Saquon Barkley runs, Saquon Barkley leans. You can't lean in the snow. You got to make one cut and go in the snow. You don't get to do all the leaning in hard and you don't get to do all the spin moves. You don't get to do any of that. And so when they finally got Saquon Barkley loose, whoo, man. Saquon Barkley is an absolute beast. Saquon Barkley is an absolute beast. Now, let's look at Jalen Hurts as we begin to talk about Saquon Barkley, and I'll get to some of your comments. I'm telling you, this right here, I'm not mad at it. This is pretty much what I expect. Jalen Hurts is probably not going to throw the ball more than 20 times. Now, Kellen Moore, what they tried to do, Kellen Moore tried to come out because he knew they were going to try and stop the run. Kellen Moore tried to come out with a few passes. Didn't work. Did not work. Couldn't pull it off. And they quickly made the adjustment and said, okay, back to the run. Back to the run. There's no point in messing the game up. Back to the run. And I'm telling you, this is what you want. I'm telling y'all not hearing me. I hope Jerry Jones does this for Dak Prescott. I hope Jerry Jones does this for Dak Prescott. I will not mind in 2025. I will not mind Dak Prescott having a 15 of 20 game, 138 yards, and the Cowboys still win. I love it. When you throw 20 times, complete 15 passes, there were two teams in particular that did this to the Cowboys this year. It was the Baltimore Ravens. It was the New Orleans Saints. And when they did this to the Cowboys, they controlled both lines of scrimmage. And you thinking, well, he was only 15 to 20, so the score couldn't be too high. They destroyed him. I keep telling y'all there are two things that travel. Defense and run games. They travel. Even when the quarterback is struggling, if you got a defense and a run game, you're in the game. You're in the game. I don't care if you're playing Matthew Stafford. You're in the game. If you can run the ball, man, if you can run the ball and control the line of scrimmage, and even though the Rams were able to get off some things, but when it counted, they were able to control the line of scrimmage. They did their jobs. They did. They forced turnovers. This is what you want. I'm telling y'all. Y'all keep talking about how Jalen Hurts, people keep talking about, oh, my son, me and him been going back for, ooh, Jalen Hurts not top 10. So? Jalen Hurts is mid. So? This is how you want. I'm not saying you don't want a great quarterback. If you can get him, get him. But it is really in your best interest to build a team around your quarterback. Because Matthew Stafford has not won a Super Bowl without a team around Matthew Stafford. It took a team around Matthew Stafford to win. They're still trying to build a team for Matthew Stafford to win again before he get up out of here. I don't know if they're going to be able to accomplish it because the NFC East is looking sick. The NFC East is looking absolutely sick. The defense forced turnovers. And this right here, this is the same thing that happened the last time. They had no answer for Saquon Sick Barkley. They had no answer. They had no answer for Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley has always made me sick. Because I'm going to tell you about Saquon Barkley. You stop him for 2 yards. You stop him for 3 yards. You get him for a 1 yard loss. You stop him for another 2 yard loss. You stop him for 3. And just when you think we got this man shut down, he will not only break 1, he'll break 2. Saquon's a beast. Everybody who passed up on this man, I don't feel sorry for none of them, including the Dallas Cowboys. Our Dallas Cowboys, I don't feel sorry for them. Everybody could have had Saquon Barkley. They all should have been in a bidding war. Who didn't know the New York Giants was a huge part of the problem for this man? Who didn't know? Saquon Barkley is an absolute monster. It ain't even close. He's an absolute monster. This man was 26 for 205, 2 touchdowns, and the 78-yard run was an absolute backbreaker. Boy, this man's a game changer. If there's ever a game changer, this man is a game changer. I'm going to read y'all comments because I know some of y'all probably hating on Jalen Hurts. But now I'm going to tell you why I'm not hating on Jalen Hurts. The issue is with Dak Prescott. You're probably not going to see a game like this from Dak Prescott unless you're going to get him not 1, but 2 prolific running backs. Because where Jalen Hurts lacks in the passing game, let me tell you something. Your quarterback can do this. When he can go 7 for 70 and break a game wide open with a 44-yard run, you can tell me anything you want to about Jalen Hurts. I keep telling y'all, this man is dangerous. He's not going to kill you with the pass game. He may get you with a couple of passes. What have I told you? Jalen Hurts, especially in good weather, Jalen Hurts will throw 3 or 4 passes a game to make you go, Jalen Hurts threw that? But then everything else, people better start giving Kellen Moore some credit. Kellen Moore, okay, he understands what Jalen Hurts is. Screen games, slants. I mean, he knows what he is. Kellen knows what he is. The weather had an effect on everybody today. And I think it even controlled Matthew Stafford to a degree too. It controlled him. If the weather is different, I think this game is different. I still think Philly wins, but I think the game is absolutely different. Because I think that Jalen Hurts could have actually gotten even more loose on the Rams. But that snow was a whole different story. And not to mention, I ain't taking nothing away from them doggone, I'm not taking nothing away from them Philadelphia Eagles. Man, them dudes on the pass rush, man, when they get going, man, you can't even move out the way. Sean McVay is on to something. And the Rams are going to be that much better next year. But I'm telling y'all, Jalen Hurts, 15 for 21, 28. You start saying he's not a quarterback, say what you want to say, but when that joker come back and hurt you with 70 yards and a 44-yard run, this dude is absolutely dangerous. He's dangerous. And if that weather gets better, he'll be even more dangerous. But it was kind of like the game didn't turn out like I expected, but I expected the Eagles to win. Because at the end of the day, they're still better than the Rams. Matthew Stafford is a better quarterback, quote unquote, than Jalen Hurts. The problem with Matthew Stafford, when you're talking about two teams that both have a serious pass rush, again, I'm taking Jalen Hurts in a game if you're going to tell me that there's going to be serious pass rushes on both sides. Matthew Stafford is a sitting duck. Matthew Stafford is going to get more of the arm hits. Matthew Stafford is going to get more of the strip sack fumbles. Matthew Stafford is going to get a lot of the beatings if you're going to tell me about who can get away from who. And Jalen Hurts, again, Jalen Hurts was hampered today. I'm wondering, like I said, I'm interested to see what he looks like on the injury report. But the Philadelphia Eagles, they had 2, 3, 4, 5. They had 5 sacks. But you know what's so powerful about the Eagles' sacks? It was the timing of them. It was the time that they came in the game. The Eagles' sacks were absolutely game-changing. They were absolutely game-changing. I mean, they came at the perfect moments. They were game-changing. They were. They were absolutely game-changing. And so, man, like I said, I told you so. But I'm not going to act like that I wasn't on the edge of my seat. Because, man, the Rams, again, bravo. Rams came to play. I was surprised. I got to admit it. The Rams came to play. Great job by the Rams. Great job by the Rams. I was glad to see a very good and competitive game. Let me go back and read some of your comments. Jared said, that's why I'm worried about the Eagles. Having to either face either Buffalo or Kansas City. Hurts is asking to get blown out. No, he's not. I'm telling you he's not. Let me show you why he's not, Jared. I'm telling y'all, Jalen Hurts, I'm just telling you. I know we don't like his style of football. Yes, our quarterback, Dak Prescott, is a better quarterback, as in throwing the football, reading defenses, doing those types of things. Dak Prescott, better deep ball thrower. Dak Prescott, as a quarterback, is better than Jalen Hurts. But what's dangerous about Jalen Hurts, what he lacks in passing, he makes up for somewhat in his running. He makes up for it. He makes up for it. And I'm going to show you something, Jared, again. Do not let Jalen Hurts fool you, man. I'm just keeping it real. Don't let this dude fool you. Jalen Hurts will show you some of these games that we watched today. And then he'll come back when you think, he ain't going to do nothing. Jalen Hurts will come back and have a game that'll make your head spin. You don't believe me? So let's look at the Super Bowl year. I showed this the other day. Let's look at Jalen Hurts' Super Bowl year when they went on the Super Bowl run. I had to explain this last night. I had to explain it to my son. It's all Saquon Barkley. Jalen Hurts been here and done this. This man got to the Super Bowl without Saquon Barkley. Stop it. He got to the Super Bowl without Saquon Barkley, whether people like it or not. He did. This is his divisional round game. Jalen Hurts in a divisional round. See anything familiar? See anything familiar with Jalen Hurts? They understand the formula with Jalen Hurts. 16 of 24, 154, 2 touchdowns. But where Jalen Hurts is dangerous, and they couldn't do it tonight because of the snow, but where he's dangerous is also in short yardage. 3rd and 1s, 4th and 1s. They have the highest, if I'm not mistaken, they have the highest or one of top 5 highest, not third down. I told y'all this the other day, 4th down conversion percentage. 4th down conversion percentage. And if they don't get the false start down there on the goal line late in the game is actually already over because they got in the end zone. They would have won the game. I mean, they would have really put that game away. But instead, they had to settle for 3 points. They get 7 points at that juncture, it's over. It was really going to be over. And that really helped them. But look at this. Jalen Hurts, 16 for 24, 2 touchdowns. And look what he did. 1 touchdown. 9 of 34. So you look at what he accounted for. He accounted for 188 yards of the offense. He got 3 touchdowns. Those numbers look pretty pedestrian, right? This is the divisional round. I'm telling y'all, only thing I'm worried about Jalen Hurts with is he injured. But if Jalen Hurts is healthy, I'm telling you, y'all are underestimating this man. You're underestimating him. I love the way Jalen Hurts is winning. I'm sorry, I do. He can win down and dirty. He don't have to hit teams like Matthew Stafford. If Matthew Stafford is not hitting you for 250, 300 yards, 3-4 touchdowns through the air, you're pretty much done. If that's how you're going to live your life, you're going to lose. You're going to lose. Unless you got super studs all the way around Matthew Stafford. They're not there yet. They're not there like they were on that Super Bowl year. They had super studs everywhere. I want you to look at Jalen Hurts again. This time, Jalen Hurts in the championship game. Look familiar, anybody? Look familiar? What was he this past game? Let's go back and look again. What was Jalen Hurts? Jalen Hurts was 15 of 20 for 128. In the NFC Championship game, he was 15 of 25 for 121. He's 15 of 25 for 121. 0 touchdowns. But you know the problem is again? He gets busy in the run game. And what this is not reflecting are those tush pushes, those 3rd and 1s, those 4th and 1s, those whatever 3rd and 2s, 4th and 2s. Jalen Hurts is still doing maximum damage. Jalen isn't hitting you like Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is hitting you for chunk yards. Jalen is scary because he's not hitting you for he's not hitting you for chunk yards. Jalen is doing backbreaker runs, first downs. Me and my uncle was talking about this today. I told you about this in the Washington Commanders Detroit Lions game. Dan Quinn out Dan Campbell. When a team gets the 4th down, it's a relief. It's an exhale for the defense. Whew, we got them. We're getting off the field. We get to go sit down and rest. They've had us on like a 7-yard drive, 8-yard drive. We get to go get a rest. But you're on the 8th play of a 12 or 13 play drive, and the doggone the offense decides, hey, it's 4th and 1, we're going for it. And you're like, what? Why are they going for it? I mean, you know why they're going for it, but you don't want them to go for it. And so now you're like, okay, hold on. We got to get a play together. We got to stop them. And then when they make it, it's demoralizing. It's absolutely demoralizing. Doggone it. They got a 4th down. Now you got to get your gumption back. Okay, well, let's stop them again. And in your mind, you know what you're thinking? We cannot afford to let this team get the 4th and 1 again, because if they get the 3rd and 1, we're in trouble. We got to stop them from getting to 3rd and 1. And that's the problem with the Eagles. You have to stop them from getting to 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. You have to stop them, because if you don't stop them from getting to 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 2, they can just do it on 4th down and get it 2. If it's 4th and 2, they can go for it. Okay, we'll do it. We'll do the tush push once. We'll get a yard. We'll do the tush push on the 4th down, and we'll get another yard. It's impossible almost to stop. No one has narrowly stopped it. And so with Jalen Hurts, see, you start looking at these numbers, and you're like, see, this is the issue with Jalen Hurts. I have no issue. I have no issue. Because look what wound up happening. 31-7. You know what this tells us? Howie Roseman is doing his job. Jalen Hurts has a team around him. Jalen Hurts doesn't. See, with Dak Prescott, y'all know our problem with Dak Prescott? Hey, Dak Prescott, can you be Superman for 4 quarters? Not 3. No. Not even 2. Not even 2.5, Dak. No, Dak Prescott, we need you to be Superman the entire game. Because, Dak, if you're not Superman, we can't win the game. Dak Prescott no longer runs like Jalen Hurts. And I won't say that Dak used to run like Jalen Hurts, but Dak used to run like Jalen Hurts. It was in his repertoire. That's no longer. And we're going to see what happens this year. It's not in Dak's repertoire no more. And so Dak is going to require a show enough run game. I'm not mad at it. Just go get it. Just like Jared Goff. Just go get it. We're not worried about the fact that you need it. Okay, you know what he needs. Go get it. But Jalen, people can make the argument. He's not top 10. And your point? He's not top 10 based on what you call a top 10 quarterback. But you know what's strange? Was he top 10 in 2022? Was Jalen Hurts top 10 in 2022? Because if you look at those numbers, I promise you he wasn't. I promise you in 2022, Jalen Hurts wasn't top 10. But isn't it strange? Jalen Hurts was not top 10, but he wound up in the top 2. What's the goal? Is the goal for your quarterback to be top 10, top 5 and go home? Is the goal for your quarterback to be 2-time MVP, 3-time MVP and go home? Is the goal for your quarterback to only go to his second AFC championship game, Josh Allen? Is that your goal and then you go home? Or would you rather not only go to the Super Bowl in 2022, book it. Book it. The Washington Commanders are not beating the Philadelphia Eagles. Book it. The Philadelphia Eagles are going to the Super Bowl, barring an injury with Jalen Hurts. And I'll tell you this, if the weather is clear and Jalen Hurts get hurt, watch what I tell you. Y'all not listening to me. Kenny Pickett is not your average backup. Kenny Pickett is probably a starter in this league. But y'all know how we do quarterbacks. If they don't do well, we throw them in the trash. Okay, you're immediately relegated to the backup role. Because we don't want to develop quarterbacks no more. We throw them in the water and we say sink or swim. Oh, okay, Jaden Daniels, throw him in the water. Woo, he's swimming. We got people talking about, oh man, he top 5. I heard a guy this morning say there's a difference between good and great. And we're too quick to crown people as great. And then going to say Jaden Daniels is great. What? Stop this madness. We've seen this stuff before. I don't understand why we're acting like we haven't seen this before. These guys will come in this league as rookies and they'll wreck the league. NFL get tape on them. NFL gets tape on them. And all of a sudden, that quarterback who you crowned, ooh, he got to the Super Bowl in his rookie season. Dan Marino never made it back. Never made it back. What has Joe Burrow been doing? He's been going through all kinds of trials and tribulations. My son said today, oh, well, Lamar Jackson will be back, will he? You know the future? So you know he's not going to get injured next year. So you know he's going to stay healthy the next year or the 2 years. He's going to stay healthy 2 years in a row. And Lamar Jackson, as much as he runs, So you're telling me he's going to stay healthy and it's promised that he gets back to a Super Bowl? Nope. Nope. It's not promised. We're going to talk about Lamar Jackson in just a moment. But I'm telling you, Jared, and I understand your concerns, but the reason why I'm not concerned is because this is what Jalen Hurts did the first time. It's really no different. This is what he did the first time. But then, let me show you this, and I showed y'all last night. It's strange. Y'all saw those 2 games with Jalen Hurts? Barely threw the ball for 125 yards. Comes into the Super Bowl. Look what he did. Wait, hold on. Let me make sure. Might be the wrong game. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Let me show you what he did in the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts, with those pedestrian numbers in the divisional and the NFC Championship game. Look what he did in the Super Bowl. This joker was 27 of 38, 304 yards, 1 touchdown through the air, 15 carries, 70 yards, 4.7 yards per carry, 3 touchdowns. This man accounted for 374 yards of offense and only 4 touchdowns. Insane. Insane. If they win this game, he's the MVP. And there were people who were arguing, and I remember this. They were arguing that Jalen Hurts should be the MVP as a loser. He was unstoppable in the Super Bowl. I'm not worried, Jared. I'm not worried. I've seen this before. It'd be different if this is something new. I've seen this before. Jalen Hurts is dangerous. He can beat you all kinds of ways. He can. Czar, I'm the annoying Eagles fan from last night. Now, you're not annoying. Purple Soul, let me tell you something. Yeah, the Eagles won. The Rams gave them a run. But in the end, the best team won. The best quarterback, quote unquote, didn't win. The best team won. But I'm fine with the way Jalen Hurts wins. I am. Richard, the Rams had a chance, but they were trying to pass their way back into the game. They did. They had a chance. And just like I told you, the problem with throwing the ball 40-something times, it's only a matter of time. You're going to pay the piper. You're going to pay the piper. And the Eagles didn't have as many sacks, but it's when they got them. Boy, it's when they got them. They were game-changing. If Saquon is the best player for the Eagles against either team, they have no shot. I don't know if Saquon. Let me put it like this. I don't have a problem with anyone saying that Saquon Barkley is the best player on the team. And he may be the best player on the team. I'm not going to argue with anyone if they says that. But the issue is, he's not the most versatile player on the team. The most versatile player on the team goes to one Jalen Hurts. Because Jalen Hurts gets the ball in his hand more than anybody on offense. He can throw it. He can run it. He can beat you with the pass. He can beat you with the run. I'm telling y'all, man, they're hating on Jalen Hurts. This dude is going to the Super Bowl. He's going to the Super Bowl. He is. And when we talk about Saquon Barkley being the best player on the team, I even say that is probably somewhat subjective from this perspective. The Philadelphia Eagles are not just offense. We're not giving them credit. Their defense is great. It's not good, it's great. It's great. It is. They have a great defense. And it depends upon the team of how the team looks against them. And I'll give Sean McVay credit. I've already said this about Sean McVay. Sean McVay is a great play caller. He is. He's a great play caller. But you're just not beating the Eagles day in and day out. You're going to have a hard time beating the Eagles if you can't equally run with them. And their defensive front is so good, it's hard to run as good as them. The Rams, like they was almost about to pull it off, got a forced turnover. Put them behind the 8 ball. And if the Eagles put you in a situation where you have to throw the ball, you can say good night. The party's over. Party's over. If Philly put you in a situation to where you have to pass, the party's over. They got you right there because they're going to get you. I'm telling you, man, this Eagles team, I'm telling y'all, it's not built like the Rams. The Rams team, built, finesse team. It's not built like the Rams. I got news for y'all. The Washington Commanders, they're not a down and dirty team yet. This is still a Dan Quinn team. It's still kind of a hybrid, more of a finesse team. They're doing all the fancy runs with Jaden Daniels. They're doing a lot of the pretty deep passes here and there. They're hitting you with a few runs here and there. I mean, they're more of a finesse team. Now, they beat the Eagles last time they saw them. Knocked out Jalen Hurts. Scored 20 points in the fourth quarter. Not happening again. Not happening again. As long as Jalen Hurts stay healthy, there's no way the Commanders are beating them. There's just no way. There's no way the Commanders are beating them. They're going to the Super Bowl again. I'm not concerned about Jalen Hurts. As long as Jalen Hurts is healthy, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. But if he's not healthy, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. Blue Star, I see you coming up on the horizon. We're going to get to this Lamar Jackson game in a moment. So overall, it's crazy to me. Jerry Jones is not looking at one coach he chose Mike McCarthy over. Jerry Jones is looking at 2 coaches he chose Mike McCarthy over. 2. Dan Quinn, just by the Washington Commanders giving him say-so and control of the team in the locker room, giving him some say-so in free agency, giving him some say-so in the draft. Dan Campbell is coach of the bleeping year. He came into the Washington Commanders, new ownership, brand new rookie quarterback, all kinds of new players everywhere, and Dan Quinn is now in the NFC Championship game. Where did they do this at? Incredible. And Kellen Moore, the very man that they ran out of town. They allowed Mike McCarthy to elbow this man out that he basically had to walk away from the Cowboys. And I've already debunked this whole issue. People talking about, Mike McCarthy, he improved Dak Prescott. Go back and look at 2021. I've already done it. I'm not going to do it again. It looked almost identical to 2021 with one Kellen Moore. And this team was better with Kellen Moore calling the plays. And you can call his plays, whatever people have been saying about him, poor route concepts, blah, blah, blah. Well, give Dak Prescott all the credit in the world then. Because Dak Prescott looked consistent with both of them. All 3 of them. Jason Garrett, Kellen Moore, Mike McCarthy. There was no fall off. I mean, pretty much the same. And so, I'm telling y'all, man, the Philadelphia Eagles, I'm not worried. I think the Philadelphia Eagles is going to be fine. I do think looking at these 2 coaches, I'm just hoping that Jerry in his mind. I'm hoping Jerry has made his mind up and said, okay, we got Dak for 3 more years. I'm not going to throw him away. I told y'all last night, the Cowboys have some 30 unrestricted and restricted free agents. They're not going to have a choice but to be a player in free agency. They don't have a choice. And I think Jerry fixed it like this. I think Jerry put himself in a situation to where he is going to do something. There's no other way to explain it. He is going to do something. He is going to have to get players in free agency. He's going to fill some of the roster spots in the draft. And then the others, he's going to have to sign some of his own players back. And we'll talk about that for sure We'll probably talk about that for sure on either tomorrow or Tuesday. Tuesday at the latest. But they will have to sign some of their players back. They're not going to get them all. So guess what they're going to have to do? They're going to have to go in free agency. And I have a feeling that when they go into free agency, they're probably going to get maybe not a first day. They're probably going to, I think they'll get a second day guy. They'll get a second day person. And probably I'm thinking that if they go into free agency, it's going to be more to help them on defense than anything. I think they're going to try to fix the offense through the draft. Running back, wide receiver. I think they're going to try to fix those two positions through the draft. And then, of course, they'll try to build upon the defense and the offense some more. But I also think Micah Parsons, squeaky wheel gets the oil. I think that Jerry is going to do whatever he can. Not saying he's going to go out and get the best free agent on the market on defense, but I think too Jerry is going to try to get a better defense opposite of Dak Prescott too. Because if he doesn't, it's over. Rams, Minnesota Vikings, Washington Commanders, Philadelphia Eagles. They're going to have to do something to compete with those teams. If not, we're just going to see worse than what we saw this year. We'll see worse. So I believe Jerry is going to do something because, one, he's not going to have a choice. Number two, at least in my thinking, he's looking at what's going on. If you think this doesn't, if y'all think this doesn't bother Jerry, I guarantee you it does. I don't know what effect it's going to have exactly, but you can't help but look at what's going on and be like, what in the world is going on? The Commanders and the Eagles are in the NFC Championship game, and one of the two coaches that was just with your franchise 1 and 2 year removed, one of them is going to be in the Super Bowl, and man, if it's Dan Quinn. Man, I'm telling you, if I'm Jerry, I don't sleep a week. I don't sleep a week if the Washington Commanders make the Super Bowl when I had Dan Quinn right in my hand. Blue Star, we about to transition. So you're going to crucify Lamar Jackson like they do Dak Prescott. Only difference now is he's 3-5 or 2-5 in the playoffs. There's really not a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL aside from Mahomes to be a winning quarterback. Man. Blue Star, I hate to do this. Absolutely hate to do it. Blue Star, I hate to say it and I hate to do it. I don't care what anyone says. I just got to say it. Lamar Jackson is a failure. Hands down. Lamar Jackson is a failure. There is no other way to get around it. Y'all got to help me out. Blue Star, help me out. If not now, when? Blue Star, help me out. If not now, when? Do y'all realize in the last 3 years, they went out and got Lamar Jackson wide receivers? Odell Beckham Jr. was one of them. Didn't work. Do y'all realize that this man probably has the best tight end receiving core in the game, minus Andrews? Didn't work. They got him a defense. Didn't work. They got him an offensive line. Didn't work. And now, to add insult to injury, hold on a second. We keep talking about Jalen Hurts. Is Lamar Jackson better than Jalen Hurts? Is there anybody that'll argue that Jalen Hurts is better than Lamar Jackson? I bet you they won't argue that. Yeah, Jalen Hurts may be, Lamar Jackson may be more talented than Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has been to the Super Bowl and only lost. He went toe-to-toe with the monster known as the Kansas City Chiefs with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. This man put up almost 400 yards of offense. We're saying he's not top 5. He threw 1 touchdown. I mean, he threw what? 1 touchdown, ran 3, or 3 touchdowns, ran 1. I'm sorry. My memory is leaving me on the game. Let me go back. Let me make sure I'm correct on this. Yeah. He's almost 400 yards of offense. He threw 1 touchdown. He ran 3 touchdowns. And we say he's not top 5. Not sure if I remember the MVP for Jalen Hurts. I don't remember. I don't know. I don't really follow him like this. I'm not sure if he's been all pro. I don't know if he's been all pro. I don't know if he's been the MVP of the league, but I can tell you what I know for a fact that Jalen Hurts has accomplished without Saquon Barkley. He's been to the Super Bowl. He's been to the Super Bowl, and he battled the monster. He battled the Kansas City Chiefs and the referees. I said it. He battled the Kansas City Chiefs and the referees and only came up short by 3 points. Put an entire franchise on his back. And we still won't put no respect on this man's name. Meanwhile, Lamar Jackson, he is on his way to his 3rd MVP. I mean, I don't see how they don't give it to him. He was 1st team All-Pro. Josh Allen was 2nd team All-Pro. Oh, and by the way, with everything they got Lamar Jackson, they said, I know how we're going to fix this time. The receivers didn't work. The tight ends didn't work. The defense didn't work. The offensive line didn't work. But we still got some of those things. How about we get him the 2nd best running back in the league? Let's get him Derrick Henry. Yeah, let's get him Derrick Henry. The Buffalo Bills. Explain it to me. The Buffalo Bills were able to stop Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. But you want to add insult to injury? You want to know how they did this, Blue Star? Let's stay in this conversation. You know how they pulled it off? Let's look at this real quick. Lamar Jackson was 18 to 25. Actually, he was above what I would call average. Stu was great if you just look at this. 18 to 25, 254. You're talking chunk yards. You know what the problem is? He has a turnover problem in the playoffs. He has a turnover problem. He had 1 interception at a very crucial moment. He had a fumble at a very crucial moment. And that was the ball game. After that, it was all uphill from there. Derrick Henry, 16 to 84. Actually, not bad. Hill, 6 for 50. Not bad. Lamar Jackson, 6 for 39. A little below his average, but hey, not bad. But you know what was bad? Not 1, but 2 turnovers. Now, I'm going to give him credit. Lamar Jackson fought back hard. Got the game within 2 points. Can y'all answer me this? Andrews, if I'm not mistaken, had already dropped 2 passes. He also fumbled a very critical first down at a very critical juncture in the game. And you're telling me you got Wiley on that team, who is one of the scariest tight ends in the league, and you run the bootleg to the right. So what you trying to prove, Baltimore? What you trying to prove, Baltimore? You're trying to prove to Andrews that we still have trust in you, even though you dropped 2, even though you fumbled 1 at a critical juncture in the game. Oh, hold on a second, Andrews, you're a part of this team. We're gonna prove to you we trust you. Stupid. Not giving him that opportunity. Let's win this game. I'll trust you next week. I trust you next week, bro. We're going to have a conversation. We're going to have a conversation after we win this game, but I'll be doggone. You think I'm running a 2-point conversion to Andrews? Stupid. Stupid. And the comeback for Lamar Jackson, it was only going to tie the game up. The comeback for Lamar Jackson. I feel sorry for Lamar Jackson, but I'll be honest with you. It ended exactly the way it should have. There is no way. Y'all might not understand what I'm saying. There is no way. I want y'all to look at something. There is no bleeping way. You telling me the Baltimore Ravens mollywopped the Bills 35-10. Mollywopped them. Now that was early in the season. But even then, I mean, the Bills 3-1, the Ravens 2-2. They mollywopped them. You're telling me you come back and let the Bills only turn around and beat you 27-25? They're blaming this on Andrews. They have to. You know why? Because they've lifted Lamar Jackson up. Woo! 3 MVPs. This is his year. He's a huge part of the loss. He is. I don't care who that makes mad. He's a huge part of the loss. If he don't turn the ball over, they're not fighting tooth and nail to get back in the game. And I don't care what anyone says. Whoever called that bootleg to the right to Andrews, you're fired. You're fired. I'm not even giving you a chance. You're fired and I'm cutting Andrews. I'm sending a message on this team. I know someone says, oh, I wouldn't do that. That's you. Andrews, I'm going to let you get all your crying out for the next week. You will not be on this team next year. I'm cutting you. Whoever called that play, you're on notice. And they might need to even rethink that if you couldn't do it with Derrick Henry, somebody explain it to me. If you can't do it with Derrick Henry, win. Win. I'm going to tell y'all something. I told y'all this the other day. And I mean it. If the Dallas Cowboys put a team like Jalen Hurts has around Dak Prescott, and he lose like Lamar Jackson lost today, I would even say if Dak Prescott had the team that Lamar Jackson has, because Dak Prescott loves tight ends. Dak Prescott eats up seams with tight ends. If Dak Prescott lost like Lamar Jackson lost with a Derrick Henry type running back in the backfield, I'm going to tell you straight up, he's a failure. I feel sorry for Lamar Jackson, but he did it to himself. Do y'all know who ended the game last year against the Kansas City Chiefs? It was Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson in the playoffs. You got to tell me why, because I don't know the answer. Y'all tell me why, like the Backstreet Boys. Y'all tell me why does Lamar Jackson continue to get in playoff situations? Can y'all explain to me why does Lamar Jackson continue to have multiple turnover games? Why? Why? Why does he continue to have multiple turnover games? I can't explain it. If I'm not mistaken, Lamar Jackson only had 4 turnovers during the season. Just like Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert had hardly no turnovers during the season. Comes into the playoffs, and if I'm not mistaken, he matched the number of turnovers he had during the season in one game. Lamar Jackson comes in the game, hardly no turnovers. What does he do? He doesn't turn it over once, he turns it over twice. And both of them, you take away those turnovers, I think they probably beat the Bills. Let me tell y'all something that I noticed that was strange. I wrote this down today. And this isn't about, some people say, oh, well, the best quarterbacks won. I don't agree. You know what I noticed? All of the playoff teams that we watched this weekend. Let's go to the playoff bracket just for a moment. All of the teams that we watched this weekend. Do y'all realize something they all had in common other than C.J. Stroud? How many turnovers did Jared Goff have? How many? Jared Goff had what? 4 turnovers. Multiple turnovers. Knocked out. Philadelphia Eagles and the Los Angeles Rams. See, my man Marlon Brando, he hates Dak Prescott. I'm trying to see if he's in here. Let me go down. Marlon Brando, is he in the crib? Marlon Brando hates Dak Prescott. Or I don't know if he hates him. He just says that Dak isn't really all that good. He's entitled to his opinion. But he tried to claim that during the playoff weekend, I think it was last weekend, all the best quarterbacks won. Y'all tell me, would anybody on this line say that that Jalen Hurts is better than Matthew Stafford? Because I bet you nobody's going to tell you that Jalen Hurts is better than Matthew Stafford. I bet you ask more than half the people on this chat, they would tell you, I'll take Matthew Stafford over Jalen Hurts. You know the difference in the game? Let's see. Jared Goff, 4 turnovers. How many turnovers did Matthew Stafford have? He had 1. The running back had 1. Multiple turnovers in the game. The quarterback had 1. The running back had 1. Again, multiple turnovers. Isn't it strange? Guess what happened in the Buffalo-Baltimore game? You want to know why they lost the game? They lost the turnover battle. Again, they basically lost the turnover battle. The Buffalo Bills is not a team you can afford. They're not a team you can afford to turn the ball over against. Now, y'all might not remember something that I told y'all. Let me refresh your memory. What did I tell you about the running quarterbacks in this league? There are probably 5 running quarterbacks in this league. And this is how I categorize them. These are the 5 best running quarterbacks. And you know what? We're probably going to have to say there's 6 now. There's actually 6 really good running quarterbacks in the league because of Jaden Daniels. But before we added Jaden Daniels into the equation, Who did I tell y'all were the 4 best runners in the league? And I'm still sticking with this. Number 1, Lamar Jackson is the best runner in the league. He's the best runner. He's a video game. I mean, you're looking at him. He's making moves. He's making spins. He's making guys miss. He's fast. All of these different things. Lamar Jackson, he's a video game. The thing the Bills did today that I thought that was so powerful is that they stopped him and Henry from getting those video game runs. Masterful game by their defensive coordinator. But he's the best runner in the league. Number 2, what did I tell you about Patrick Mahomes? Patrick Mahomes is the smartest runner in the league. He's not the best, he's the smartest. He runs at very opportune times. Once those defensive backs turn their back out there in the pass coverage, he sneaks out of that backfield. He'll fake a throw every now and then. I mean, you're looking at some of the runs that Patrick Mahomes make, and I'm sorry, you're looking at these runs and going, wait a minute, they tried to miss him. I don't know. I can't explain it. But when this dude is running, they're literally missing him on rudimentary moves. But he's a very smart runner. He is. He's a very smart runner. Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, while he's not the fastest, he's not the smartest, he's not the best, but Jalen Hurts is still dangerous. He bench presses. I mean, not bench presses. He squats, I believe, somewhere around 600 pounds. And once he gets out of the backfield, he can go. 44 yards, anybody? He can go. He can do the tush push. He can do so many things with his legs. But then there's another one. And it is none other than Josh Allen. He's the scariest. Josh Allen is the scariest running quarterback in the league. He big, he fast, and he's strong. And he don't mind putting his head down and putting his head right in your chest. He'll lower his head, put it in your chest. He'll lower his shoulder, put it in your chest. He don't mind going head to head. He'll run head first. He's a very big big quarterback. So when he leans, whatever he dives, he's going to get another 3 or 4 yards. I'm telling you, he's scary. He is scary when you see him running. And of course, now I said 6. And then now, of course, now we adding Jaden Daniels to the equation. Now we're adding Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels is a little, quick quarterback. This dude is super quick. Super quick. If you don't contain him, he's going to hit you for 5 or 6 before you even blink. He is going to be the very reason why next week the Eagles, they're going to have a really good chance against the Eagles to win too. I think the Eagles defense, their defensive front is going to be a lot better than everybody else. So he's going to really have to pick and choose some of those runs. But it'll hurt Philadelphia too. It will. It'll hurt Philadelphia too. But at the end of the day, Blue Star, we got to call a spade. We do. What else is Lamar Jackson? You're the bleeping most talented quarterback in the league, and you keep winning. And you keep losing. And they can blame Andrews all they want to. He's a part of the loss. He's a part of the loss. And if we're going to pick nits, Andrews, that ball was actually supposed to be placed. I'm picking nits. I know someone is gritting their teeth and balling up the toes right now saying he should have caught it. I agree. I have a cardinal rule. My sons play football, and they'll tell you what I tell them every single time. If the ball touches your hand, if you're a quarterback, if you're a wide receiver or a tight end, if the ball touches your hands, and I'm talking your hands, up, down, whatever, it's supposed to be a catch. And tight ends are usually very sure-handed because they have bigger hands. Andrew should have caught it, no doubt about it. But I was looking at some plays this afternoon, this evening, showing them to my son, some of the worst drops. We looked at Jackie Smith with Roger Staubach and the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I also showed him the Edelman, I think it was, wasn't it Wesker, I think his name was. It was either Wesker or Edelman. I think it was Wesker for the New England Patriots. They were playing the New York Giants. And Tom Brady throws a sideline route, but he has to turn around to catch it. But it hit both hands. He should have caught it. It'd have been a circus catch, but he should have caught it. Andrews should have caught it. But if you look at the ball placement, go back and look at the ball placement. I wonder, couldn't we pull that up without getting copywritten? If you look at the ball placement, Lamar Jackson should have put that ball up and out, because that's actually how it's designed. It's designed, if you're rolling to the right, it is supposed to be up and out. There's no reason to put it down low, because you're making Andrews, who's also running to his left, which if you're a wide receiver or tight end, you probably want to be running to your left, because your right hand is your dominant hand. And so when you open up that catch radius, that ball should be here or here. And that is supposed to take your momentum, which you're already running, out. Boom. Got it. Out of bounds. We got the 2-point conversion. But if you noticed, Lamar Jackson, as he's running, he throws it in and down. And so Andrews, who's already running and expecting it here, Andrews has to adjust and go down. Now, when you get a taller tight end, taller wide receiver, depends upon how nimble they are. You take a guy like a Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks is what, 5'9"? Kevontae Turpin, what, 5'6", 5'7", 5'8"? I think he's what, 5'8", somewhere in there. So you throw a ball low to Kevontae Turpin, he's already low. It doesn't bother him to get down low. It's not going to bother Brandon Cooks if he has to get down low. He's already a short guy. A guy like a Cole Beasley who used to play here. It's not going to bother him to get down low. But if you're throwing to a tight end, and they're typically what? 6'4", 6'5"? And rather than you throwing it up in the catch radius to where he reaches out, where his momentum is already going, catch it, inbounds, runs out of bounds, 2-point conversion. We're back in this thing. We're tied up. Look at the pass. Lamar Jackson, if I'm not mistaken, unless my eyes are all deceiving me, he throws it down and in. Andrews has to make an adjustment. Man, this dude done already dropped 2 passes, bro. Don't make this dude make no adjustments, man. It's a recipe for disaster. It is. It's a recipe for disaster. Let's see if we can look at that. And then I'm gonna read some more of you guys' comments. We're gonna turn the sound down so we can not get copywritten. But let's see if we can pull it off here. All right, let's watch. Let's see. Okay, these are the drops. I don't actually want to see the drops. I want to see the drop. Okay, let's see. Let's watch this. Okay. See the problem? Y'all see the problem? Now, some people may say this isn't a problem. It's a problem. We're going to blame Andrews because we're saying it hit his hands. No. If I'm the offensive coordinator, the quarterback coach, and the coach, I'm going to tell them, no. Yes, Andrews, I'm not letting you off the hook. You should have caught the ball. But he also had 2 other drops in the game. I'm actually not even giving. Who calls this play to him? Who does it? Who calls this play to him? This play should be going to Wiley. Let's look at it again. That's not the way that's designed. I'm not saying he shouldn't have caught it, y'all. Don't beat me up. That is not the way that play is designed. That play should not turn Andrews back towards Lamar Jackson. That throw should lead him right to the pylon. It should lead him right to the pylon. And I'm going to tell anybody something. I used to play wide receiver, and I was a hands catcher. I didn't body catch. I was a hands catcher. And the balls that were easiest for me to catch, anything up high, got it, hands catch. Anything to the side, great, hands catch. Left or right, because tip of the ball, boom, right in. Great, I had great hands. You want to know one of the most difficult balls to catch? The lower it goes down, the harder it is to catch. And any of you who've ever played football and never played wide receiver, you know what I'm talking about. Because the ball's up high, the hands. Uh-oh, wait a minute. It's getting below the chest. I got to get the shoulders up now. Uh-oh, how am I going to catch it? Unless I'm going to do a body catch. And if I let it hit my body, it's probably going to bounce out. I'm a hands catcher. So rather than my hands, the lower I get down and the trajectory of the ball, I don't have the option of getting so low down. And especially, I'm a taller wide receiver or tight end. No, now I got to adjust my hands, get them shoulders up, and try to get those hands low. That ball has a chance of hitting that body once them hands go from here. Because I could catch them, man. I mean, they could drill them, and I could, bam, right before that thing hit the face, man. Boop, tuck it in. But the lower that ball would get, uh-oh, QB, you can't do this to me. Because now I got to get them hands down, shrug them shoulders up. And if that ball comes in because of how my hands are, the tip of that football is probably going to hit my chest. They're not going to admit it. This is a bad throw by Lamar Jackson. It is. That's a bad throw. Look at it. Look at his hands. You see his hands? Anybody who played football, tell me I'm right. Anybody who's played wide receiver, tell me I'm right. If you're a wide receiver, this right here is not the angle. Look how tall he is. His momentum, the entire offense momentum is running to the right. It's running to the right. We're going to destroy this man for this because we got to give Lamar Jackson, 3-time loser, we got to give him an excuse. This is a bad throw. The problem is, see what I told you? He's got those hands low. Now, when you get those hands like this, when those hands are like this, lock. Those hands down here, explain to me how you lock. Now, he's trying to scoop the ball because it's below his waist. He's trying to scoop the ball into his body. Bad. It's a bad throw. See? It's a bad throw. Should he have caught it? Yes. Still a bad throw. Yeah, I guess it ain't going to play for him again. Try to play it one more time. Here it is. Why does he turn Andrews inside? It's not designed to do that. And you know what's even crazier? Look where Andrews is. This is a perfect angle. Look where Andrews is. If Andrews catches this ball, do y'all realize he still might not be in the end zone? Because look where he is on the field. This DB right here, I got a strange feeling. He catches that ball, I believe he still tackles him. I believe he still knocks him out to where he doesn't get in the end zone. Y'all realize what this man has to do. He's going to have to get his hands down. This is not how you want to catch a football. Anybody who's played wide receiver, if you're in the chat, you know what I'm talking about. Because now I got a and then because he's changed my momentum, now I got to lunge. I can't turn with my natural momentum and then dive at the corner if I need to. See, if this is outside, I catch it, I can dive out the corner of the end zone, touchdown, in the story. But the way he had to turn, now I got to scoop, and now he's going to have to jump backwards, hoping he doesn't get this guy to push him down. He's still not in the end zone. This is a bad throw. No one else is going to tell you this. It's a bad throw. It is. I'm going to tell the truth. Somebody got to tell it. I'm going to tell the truth. It is. It's the truth. It's a bad throw. It's a bad throw. I'm not saying you shouldn't have caught it. But anybody who's played wide receiver, I played wide receiver, and I had great hands. Still do. I had great hands. But once you throw a low ball and you make me turn my hands, now you're putting me in a situation that if I can't get my hands like this, but even this, if I get my hands like this, that is a very awkward way to catch the football because there's a chance that that ball either goes through or it hits the palm and it kind of bounces. So I got to be quick and try to scoop it in. Wide receivers don't want to scoop balls in. Hands, catches. I'm telling you, no one's going to admit it. I didn't play pro ball, but I'm telling you, I played wide receiver. This is a bad throw. It turned him in. Look at there. Look at there. It turned him in. It threw him off balance. Say anything you want to. It's a bad throw. It's a bad throw. It's a bad throw. Okay, he's further away than I thought he was. But it's a bad throw. It's a bad throw. Yeah, the DB was further away than I thought he was, but it's a bad throw. I don't know what else to say. I'm just telling it like it is, Blue Star. They're going to blame Andrews. They're going to eat him. They're going to destroy him. But hopefully somebody who knows football will admit it. This is a bad throw. It was. Czar, I'm with you. They should have ran Derrick Henry more. What have I told y'all about running the ball? How many times have I said this the whole season? You don't run the ball to have a dominant run game. That's a plus. You run the ball to dominate the game. And they were way too quick to go away from Lamar Jackson. They were way too quick to do it. They were. Tony Simmons says, Dan knew it was time to go. Mike McCarthy is a scapegoat for Jerry and Steven. Everybody can't blame Mike, Dak, or anyone else but the Joneses. I'm going to blame the Joneses, but I'm blaming Mike McCarthy. I'm blaming him. He didn't control the stuff. I've been consistent on saying what I'm saying. I'm blaming Mike McCarthy because he didn't control the things he could control. And the number one thing it's not the number one thing. You know one of the things he could control? The play calling. It's atrocious. No, I'm blaming him. It's atrocious. I'm blaming the Joneses because they never should have hired him. They didn't do their due diligence. They got lazy. They got lazy. They're doing something now that they should have did when they hired Mike McCarthy. Do your due diligence. Jerry has said, forget the Rooney Rule. Jerry is bringing them in black, white, yellow, and green. He's going to bring in, I'm thinking they're talking about he's going to bring in, we'll see if they bring in Ben Johnson. But I do think they're going to probably bring in Aaron Glenn if they don't bring in Ben Johnson. But I think they're going to bring in Ben Johnson. I hope they do. They can now interview him. There will be other options to continue to interview people. The Dallas Cowboys should not stop interviewing. If they pick Kellen Moore after they do their due diligence, I want them to wait on these next few games. I want them to wait on these next few games. I want them to interview Cliff Kingsbury. I do. I want them to interview Cliff Kingsbury. I do. Interview him. Interview him. Interview the defensive coordinator for the Eagles once he loses. Interview the defensive coordinator for the Eagles. Interview Steve Spagnuolo. Interview Nagy. Kansas City Chiefs. Interview both of their coordinators. Interview both of them. OC and DC. Interview both of them. Do your due diligence. Do not settle for a moment. Do not settle on Kellen Moore. Don't settle. Do their due diligence. So you can make sure that whoever you get, you're going to live with them. You're going to live with them. Kellen Moore, if you do Kellen Moore this quick, you're settling. It means you already had this thing fixed. G, ask yourself a question. Why did Jerry allow both Kellen and Dan Quinn to apply for jobs in the same division? Mike McCarthy. I don't know why he did it in the same division, but at the end of the day, you got to think about this. Could he stop him? Explain to me, Richard, how does he stop him? He couldn't stop him. Dan Quinn's contract, if I'm not mistaken, Dan Quinn's contract was up. The Dallas Cowboys actually, Dan Quinn's contract, I think, ran out. And Dan Quinn, if you didn't notice, it was almost like Dan Quinn was on a year-to-year contract. He was on a year-to-year contract. And if he wasn't on a year-to-year contract, okay, so what? He goes somewhere else. He forfeits the money the Cowboys owe him. He was willing to do that. The reality is they couldn't stop him. Kellen Moore walked away. They couldn't stop Kellen Moore. Richard, I don't know where you're going, but don't fool yourself. Jerry knew exactly what Dan Quinn was. He knew exactly what Dan Quinn was. That's why he kept trying to keep Dan Quinn on the team, even though you don't think Jerry knew there was tension or paranoia with Mike McCarthy. Jerry knew there was paranoia. Bobby Belt isn't making this up. Bobby Belt is getting this from insiders, people inside the Star, inside the locker room. They know what's going on. Jerry chose McCarthy, which is stupid, but he chose McCarthy. He also chose Kellen Moore. He chose McCarthy over Kellen Moore. He chose McCarthy over Amari Cooper. He did. And I'll tell you another reason why he did, Richard. Jerry's not going to pay a coach that's not coaching. Jerry's not going to try to fire Mike McCarthy, especially not 2 years into a 5-year deal, especially 3 years into a 5-year deal. He's not going to do it. Jerry did not like paying Wade Phillips to do whatever. He basically had to pay Wade Phillips. Jerry doesn't want to do that. They're super cheap. They are. They're just super cheap like this. There's actually nothing Jerry could do to stop Dan Quinn from going to the Commanders. And I think there's some kind of rule, too, that it's one thing when you're interviewing for lateral moves versus interviewing for step up interviews, or you're going a position above. There was nothing Jerry could do. He didn't let them do anything. Trust me. He couldn't stop him. Willie T, what's going on? Willie T said take Lamar over Hurts any day. Go ahead. You can take him all you want to. If it's me, take him. Take Lamar Jackson all you want to, Willie T. Because all you're going to tell me is you're going to have 3 MVPs. Take him. What could you do they haven't done for Lamar Jackson? We talk about Dak Prescott. What in the world can the Baltimore Ravens do? Harbaugh is his coach. Dak Prescott hasn't had a coach nowhere near as good as Harbaugh. They got him a good DC. They got him a good OC. They got him a defense. They got him an offense. D-line, O-line. They got him skill position players. He's probably got the best stable of tight ends in the league. Zay Flowers hurt him not being in there today. That hurt him with Zay Flowers. Man, he got Derrick Henry. What else could you do? Take him. Take him. You're not proving anything. To say you'll take Lamar Jackson even over Dak Prescott, what are you saying? It's like I told my son, folks gonna learn something. Let's learn football rather than talk it. And I'm not accusing you of this, but I'm just saying this in general. Let's learn it before we talk it. What has Lamar Jackson done other than what Dak Prescott has done? Oh, wait a minute. One more playoff win. There's a difference in being the most talented quarterback and being a better quarterback. You can take Lamar Jackson all you want to. Take him. What has it got to Baltimore Ravens? I don't see how you could tell me it could get you anything more. How could it get you anything more? They bought all kinds of people around Lamar Jackson. And I'm sorry, when you have a 1,900-yard running back, no, you can have him. And just like I told my son, it's strange to me. You talking about you'll take Lamar Jackson and he at home already again. Okay, take him. You'll be at home with him. Exactly, Purple Soul. Take him. You can have him. You can have him because he has not got the Baltimore Ravens nowhere. They paid him. They got players around him. They keep doing everything for him. He hasn't got him anything. The MVP is not for them. The MVP is for him. The All-Pros are not for them. The All-Pros are for him. The MVPs and the All-Pros, they help him in his negotiating. It's not helping them win Super Bowls. I'll take going to the Super Bowl any day over those personal accolades. I'm actually tired of winning them. If it's me, I don't even want to win it no more. Who wants to win the MVP and can't even win more than one playoff game in a run? You can't even win more than one playoff game, and you're the MVP? Thank God it's a regular season award. It's a failure. The Baltimore Ravens season is a failure. There's no other way to slice it. And people can blame Andrews all they want to. That was a bad throw. Failure. Failure. There's no way to get around it. It's a failure. Purple Soul, you're right. He's one of those players. Like I said, you didn't get my point, Dak Delusional. There are no excuses for Jalen Hurts. Like I said, you're not getting the sarcasm even. I don't know if he's been all pro. I don't follow him like that. I don't know if he's been MVP. I don't follow him like that. But I'll tell you what I do know. Understand when someone is speaking in sarcasm. I'll tell you what I do know. He's been to the Super Bowl. That's all I know. And for any quarterback, somebody say they'll take over him. I said I'll take Dak Prescott over him. Well, Dak hasn't been to the Super Bowl. He doesn't have the team that Jalen Hurts has. But at the end of the day, if Jalen Hurts is as bad as everyone's saying, how did he go to the first one? How did he go to the first one, put up 400 yards? How did he do it? He put the whole team on his back. He scored 4 touchdowns. Not listening. It's foolishness. Purple Soul, he's one of those players. You're right. Justin Herbert. Facts. Trevor Lawrence. Facts. And you know what's funny? Everybody, I'll take all of them over Jalen Hurts. Go ahead. Take them all over Jalen Hurts. You'll be at home with them. You'll be at home with every last one of those quarterbacks that you're taking over Lamar Jackson. Over Jalen Hurts, because I just find it to be strange. Everybody want to make a top 5 argument. Oh, yeah, man. Mahomes, Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts has made it further than all of them except for Patrick Mahomes. Take them. Take them all day long. I'll go with Jalen Hurts to the Super Bowl while you sit up and talk about you got the best quarterback in the league. Keedy boy, me and you in the same boat. I'm glad both of them in the NFC Championship game. Jerry needs to see it. Because I believe it's the only thing that may motivate him. It may be the only thing that motivates him. Dallas Cowboys 80-92, what's going on? Yep, they contain the edges. You talking about the Philadelphia Eagles? Yes, sir. I'm with you. Jared, Jalen Hurts was second team All-Pro in 2022. I don't care. I really don't care. That was my point. I don't care. That's why I said it like I said it. I don't follow him like that. I don't know. I just don't follow Jalen Hurts like that. But I can tell you what I do see. He was in the Super Bowl when I watched it in 2022. And he put up almost 400 yards. He scored 4 touchdowns. I don't know about all the MVPs and the All-Pros, but what I do know is that he's been to the Super Bowl. And for everybody who keeps saying it's all Saquon Barkley was nowhere to be found on that team. Gainwell was the running back. He was nowhere to be. There was no Saquon Barkley, and Jalen Hurts carried that team on his back. In the Super Bowl, that is. He carried him on his back. Where was the defense that day? Patrick Mahomes puts up 38 points. The Kansas City Chiefs put up 38 points. I'm sorry. If you tell me that a team can put up 35 points on the Kansas City Chiefs, that ought to be enough to win. That ought to be enough to win. And we'll blame it on Jalen Hurts for one bleeping turnover. No, you got 35 points, bro. That ought to be enough to win. Can the defense get one stop? Like I said, anybody say that they want to. You take any quarterback you want to over Jalen Hurts. I'm laughing at you again. You'll take any quarterback, and right now, Jalen Hurts is the favorite as far as quarterbacks again. And I told y'all this before the playoffs started. These boys built to win. They're built to win. I didn't tell you that Jalen Hurts was the flashiest quarterback, the best quarterback. No, I'm telling you, Jalen Hurts can hit you in all kinds of ways. He throws just good enough. He runs just good enough. This man is dangerous, and people don't even want to give him credit. How do we discredit a man who is going further in the playoffs and to the Super Bowl than every quarterback you say is better than him? I don't understand it. That's a crazy argument to me. Crazy argument. Richard says, how do you revive a dead division? You allow the teams that are inferior to yourself to be successful so that you build intrigue and parity. I don't know, Richard. I think that's a grand plan. But if Jerry don't do something, you're not going to have a chance. Because I can tell you right now, I'm not sure if we can get as good as the Commanders next season, because the Commanders have a leg up on us because Dan is already building the team. But I can tell you this, we're not building that Philadelphia Eagle team in one season. That's a 2-season build. That's one of the reasons why I keep talking about 2026. 2025, they are not going to be able to accumulate enough players to get to the type of team that Philly has. Washington has a really good team too, but Philly has a better team as in players. So we're going to see how this all turns out. But Richard, the East is back. It's going to be a problem. Purple Soul had Dak led the team back, and it came down to a 2-point conversion. Folks will say it was essentially garbage time. No, Purple Soul, let's go even further. How much you bet if Dak Prescott needs a 2-point conversion, he throws that same pass to Ferguson, the same way Lamar Jackson threw that pass to Ferguson? How much you bet, Purple Soul? They're dissecting that play the very way I dissected that play, and they're going to tell you that Dak Prescott made a terrible throw. And if Ferguson catches it, they'll tell you bad throw by Dak Prescott, fantastic catch by Ferguson. I'm telling us, anybody who's played football and played wide receiver, you don't turn the momentum of a play of where the whole offense is literally running to the right. Why would Lamar Jackson throw the ball to where Andrews doesn't continue the trajectory that he's running towards, put the ball up and out, easy catch, out of bounds, 2-point conversion? He puts it down and low and makes him turn in opposite of his. People do not understand the physics of what Andrews had to do. He had to change momentum, turn, hands down, hit his hands, scoop it in, lean back, touchdown. I just don't think we understand what we're asking. I don't think we understand what we're asking. And I'm interested to see will anybody break this down the way that I did. Blue Star says, I say that because Lamar Jackson had more than enough to win in the playoffs. I just said it, Blue Star. What else can they do? What else can they do, Blue Star? What else? What else can they do? He said, I don't believe he will get the All-Pro again. I'm just saying, they say this and that about Dak, but does not have a super team. Lamar Jackson, super team. Super team. And I think he got the All-Pro. What they're waiting on, if you're talking about Lamar Jackson, I think he got the first team All-Pro. Josh Allen's the second team All-Pro. So now the question is, how can they justify giving the second team All-Pro quarterback the MVP? How do you justify that? I mean, I guess you can. It doesn't make sense, but I guess you can. Willie T says, so your standard on grading players is going to the Super Bowl. Well, Jim Kelly was said to be better than Troy Aikman. He was. That's not conjecture. Jim Kelly was better, not only than Troy Aikman. Jim Kelly was better than a bunch of quarterbacks. Let's not make this about Troy Aikman. But the difference is, Willie T, you're still missing my point. Jalen Hurts is on a better team. Jalen Hurts is on a better team. And he's playing within the confines of the system. Nothing more, nothing less. His skill set is good to great. He fits the system. They can beat you in all kinds of ways. I'm taking Jalen Hurts over Matthew Stafford, not because Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than Matthew Stafford. I'm taking Jalen Hurts because I know how he beats you. He can beat you with about 4 or 5 throws. He beats you with the tush push. How do you stop him on 3rd and 1, 4th and 1? Explain it to me. How do you stop him? It's not just Super Bowls. It's his versatility. It's how he can help your team win. Explain it to me. How does Matthew Stafford beat you? I can tell you how Matthew Stafford beats you. There's only one way Matthew Stafford is beating you. He's beating you with his arm. There's no other way. There's no other way Matthew Stafford is beating you. Matthew Stafford, I got news for you, Willie T, in case you need this station identification. Matthew Stafford is not rattling off a 40-yard run. He's not rattling off a 50, a 60. He's not rattling off a 70-yard run. Heck, he's not even rattling off a 30-yard run unless everybody has slipped down or he's made the bootleg play of the year. Matthew Stafford is not getting you those yards. Jalen can get it all kinds of ways. Jalen can get it all kinds of ways. Jalen can throw it. They got him some on the outside. They got him a tight end. He can throw it. Jalen can hit you for the long run. Yes, he showed it today. He can hit you for the long run. But what's the scariest thing about Jalen? Jalen destroys team with the short runs. Jalen Hurts is an automatic first down every time he gets 3rd and 1, 3rd. Every time he gets 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. This man is an automatic first down. Prove me wrong. You don't be the best 4th down conversion team in the league unless your quarterback is automatic at these doggone tush pushes. I mean, it's something that needs to be almost outlawed. And again, don't move the goalpost. Jim Kelly was better than Troy Aikman. Anybody will probably tell you that who knows football. They'll tell you that he was. He wasn't on a better team. And I mean top to bottom. He was not on a better team. He wasn't. He was not on a better team. The Dallas Cowboys were not the only team the Buffalo Bills got beat by. But I don't care what you say. I'm not sneezing at 4 Super Bowls in a row. He lost 4 in a row. But to get to 4 Super Bowls in a row is crazy. It just goes to show you how good the NFC was. They were that good. But I'm not letting you move the goalpost. Lamar Jackson hasn't been to a Super Bowl. See, you said Jim Kelly got to a Super Bowl. Jim Kelly got to 4 Super Bowls. You can't compare apples to walnuts. Lamar Jackson can't even get out of the first round barely. If he's in the divisional round, if he gets the number 1 seed, he doesn't get out of the divisional round. If he gets the number 2 seed, he might win the wild card. But again, he doesn't get out of the divisional round. And every single season, prove me wrong, they have made moves. They have made moves every single season to try and get Lamar Jackson over the hump. Tell me, when has Jerry done that consistently? Prove it. Because this is the very thing we complain about with Jerry. Jerry hasn't consistently made moves on this team that literally helps them to win Super Bowls. Jerry hasn't done that. Jerry bargain basement shops for players. He does. Jerry waits for all the apples to be picked off the tree. And then he starts going around on the ground trying to figure out, okay, I see all these rotten apples. Maybe I can find one that got a couple of rotten spots on them and I can cut the rotten spots out and maybe I can get some apple out of this rotten apple. No. They've done everything they can do for Lamar Jackson and they're going to have to face the facts. Yes, Purple Soul, very stupid. I'm telling you, they're going to have to face the facts. What more can you do for Lamar Jackson? What more can you do? I don't know what else to tell you. What else can you do for Lamar Jackson? They got the man Derrick Henry. What else can you do for? I just don't know. Somebody's probably sitting down saying this. Somebody's sitting down probably talking about this. What else can we do to get this man, help this man to win? He keeps having multiple turnovers in playoffs. He keeps having multiple turnovers in big games. What are we supposed to do? I just don't know what else they can do. You can tell me you take him all you want to. You can take him. Shanard, and Module, what's going on? Purple Soul. And Purple Soul, the call for the 2-point conversion, it's not that it's a bad call. It's bad personnel. Andrews had already proven during the game something wasn't working with him. Something wasn't working. 2 drops and a fumble. I'm not going to him at the most crucial moment in the game. No, I'm calling that play to Wiley. I'm calling that play to Wiley. I'm not calling that play to Andrews. Whoever made that call, boy, they need to be having a serious conversation tomorrow. And if somebody got enough gumption about themselves, somebody need to tell Lamar Jackson, hey, Lamar, you do know that was a bad throw, right? I wonder what Lamar Jackson said about it. I hadn't had a chance to listen to the interview, but I'm just wondering what he said about it. Because if he's being honest, he would take the heat off of Andrews and flat out come out and say, that was a bad throw. Oh, yeah, it hit him in the hands. Folk who don't understand wide receivers, they will not understand why that ball placement was terrible. And I'm surprised Shannon Sharp didn't explain it. I'm actually surprised that Shannon Sharp didn't explain it. Y'all might not realize this. Shannon Sharp dropped the ball in the end zone too when he played with the Denver Broncos. Before he became Big Play Shay, Shannon Sharp dropped a crucial throw with the Denver Broncos. Crucial one. Same way. If you ask most wide receivers and tight ends, how do they want the ball thrown? I guarantee you they're not going to tell you they want it low. They're not going to tell you they want it here, here, and here. They're going to tell you, hey, how about right here? I can look the ball in. I can look it in. I can look it in. I can look it in. The further I get down, the harder it gets to look it in. And if you make me change the way I'm running, now I don't think we're understanding the physics, Purple Soul. I now have to turn from the way I'm running, track the ball in, simultaneously trying to keep my feet because I've turned not a small body. Y'all better recognize big bodies are not designed to turn fast. That's why they're tight ends. They're not swift as gazelles like wide receivers. A wide receiver probably makes that adjustment better. They probably make that adjustment better. They're smaller, they're lighter, they don't have to bend down as far. They probably make that, boom, get it right in there, tuck it in. It's bad. It was a bad throw. Bad throw to a tight end who already proved he was struggling. I don't understand the call. It just doesn't make the call. It doesn't make sense. And they're going to eat this kid alive. Oh, it's Andrew's fault. He didn't rob Lamar Jackson of nothing. He didn't rob him of nothing. It's a bad throw. It was. She said, no, I missed it over here yapping at Daniel yapping. Azteca, Rex Grossman went to the Super Bowl too, just like Jalen Hurts. No, he's not Jalen Hurts. See, y'all trying to downplay Jalen Hurts. So last time I checked, hold on a second. Because I see where y'all trying to go because of y'all hate for Jalen Hurts. I had to get on my wife about this today. Because she don't want to see, who was it? Yeah, it was the Eagles. She wanted the Rams to win. I got news for y'all, though. Y'all can give me all the anomalies you want to. Make all the jokes you want to about Jalen Hurts. Rex Grossman didn't go to 2 Super Bowls. And I believe Jalen Hurts is not only about to go back to the Super Bowl, he's about to go back to the Super Bowl twice in 2 years. And I'm telling y'all now, I told y'all before this all started, anybody who remembers and are honest with themselves, what did I say? Howie Roseman built a team to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. He did. This man ain't playing checkers. Howie Roseman built a team to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'm telling y'all, the Philadelphia Eagles, they're going to continue to prove it. They're built to win all kinds of ways. I keep telling y'all this, and y'all don't want to believe me. You better learn football. I know we love to talk it and spew all this our opinion and hoopla. All I keep doing is giving you facts. You can tell me anything you want to. You can tell me anything you want to about Jalen Hurts. I keep giving you the facts, and you keep moving the goalpost. We're not seeing anything new with Jalen Hurts. He did this in the playoffs in 2022, got to the Super Bowl, and transformed into an absolute beast. Jalen Hurts can beat you in all kinds of ways. He's a very humble individual. You're not going to see him doing a lot of complaining about, ooh, I'm not throwing the ball enough. Ooh, I'm not getting enough yards. Ooh, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. People around him may complain about that while they're winning. A.J. Brown not complaining while he's losing, y'all. A.J. Brown is complaining while he's winning. Not while he's losing, while he's winning. You tell me anything you want to about Jalen Hurts. The dude is winning. It's the bottom line. It is. Nope, don't think he's that guy. I'm just telling you what he is. You can tell me anything you want to, Willie T, but you cannot dispute the facts. I've been telling you this day after day, and you never admit it. You can't dispute the facts. You're telling me what I think. I'm telling you what I know based on the evidence. Have I not shown you evidence? I'm not talking conjecture. I'm telling you, for everyone who says every quarterback they'll take over Lamar Jackson, they got their butts at home. They got their butts at home. Josh Allen, better than Josh Allen. Arguably the second best quarterback in the league, according to some. Welcome to the party. You finally got your second AFC championship game. Y'all dogging on Jalen Hurts. He's now in his second NFC championship game. With home field advantage. With the home field advantage. Oh, it's Saquon Barkley. It was Gainwell the last time. And nobody said that about Gainwell. Gainwell wasn't running like Saquon Barkley. And Jalen Hurts was still winning. You know why? He's on a good team. And he's working within the confines of that team. And he's doing what they're asking him to do. I'm telling y'all, you tell me anything you want to. If you tell me I have a quarterback that can win in all kinds of ways, and he's not going to complain, he's going to play within the system, and he's going to be successful in it, bring him on. Rex Grossman can't even tie Jalen Hurts' sneakers. That's an absolute joke. It's a joke. Low key. Lamar kind of threw Andrews under the bus too. He said we got to catch the effing ball. No. Purple Soul, he's not being honest with himself. He's not. That was a bad throw. And I'm surprised. But you know why? The 3-letter and 4-letter networks. Dak Prescott, fair game. Lamar Jackson, you can't say anything hardly negative about Lamar Jackson because all the racist folk come out and say, ooh, you racist. If it's Lamar Jackson, it's racist. Ooh, he got to get the MVP. Oh, I forgot Dak Prescott isn't black. Have y'all noticed? Dak Prescott is the only black quarterback I know that don't get black quarterback protection. He don't get black quarterback protection. You can talk about you can't talk about Lamar Jackson because you're racist. You talk about Lamar Jackson, you talk about Dak Prescott, no big deal. Make your money. Get your clicks. Get your likes. Get your views up. This stuff's going to have to be studied about Dak Prescott. It's going to have to be studied. I'm telling y'all, if the Cowboys come back next year and they win one playoff game, y'all know that's not going to be good enough, don't you? I just want to prepare everybody now. One playoff game will never be enough for Dak Prescott in the season. It'll never be enough. It's enough. It's enough for Lamar Jackson. It's enough. Oh, but he got MVPs. But he's the reason. He's a huge part of the reason why they're losing the games. Not one turnover, but 2 turnovers. And Purple Soul, now that you said what you said, shameful. This man threw this man under the bus. It's shameful. It's shameful. It's shameful. He threw him under the bus. Me, I understand why they would cut him. This would be a Jimmy Johnson move too. Jimmy would probably cut him. Jimmy would cut him. But it still doesn't excuse. But I can't cut Lamar Jackson. I've already signed him. But I'm taking Lamar Jackson in the back room, and I'm telling him, Lamar, that was actually a bad throw. That was a bad throw by you. Andrews is not, last time I checked, he wasn't the top guy. Facts. Lamar is a big reason they lost. But when Dak turned the ball over, it's everyone else's fault. No, Dak, not going to let you get away with that, Dak delusional. Did I not say the San Francisco 49er game? That game right there, Dak Prescott made a huge mistake. Huge mistake. Inopportune moment. Huge mistake. You don't get to make mistakes against teams like that. You don't. Dak Prescott made a huge mistake. And in the Green Bay game, two things can be right. Dak Prescott had one wide receiver. That's fact, not conjecture. Dak Prescott, every time CeeDee Lamb starts yapping his mouth, Dak starts trying to force the ball to CeeDee Lamb. That's Dak's fault. It is. The interceptions Dak threw this year, there was some that wasn't his fault. But some of those interceptions he threw trying to force the ball to CeeDee Lamb, whose fault are they? Whose fault are they? They're his. It doesn't make him a bad quarterback. Lamar Jackson is not a bad quarterback. But Lamar Jackson, he's got a problem. Again, did y'all notice what they did to him? This is a knock on Lamar Jackson, and I don't understand. I got to give the Bills defensive coordinator credit. Look at what they did to him. This is how they beat him. Right here. They limited his big playability. He was 6 for 39. No, that's Jalen Hurts type of rushing numbers. That's not Lamar Jackson type of rushing numbers. Lamar Jackson was 6 of 39. They forced him, and even though it was only 25 throws, they forced him to beat them with his arm. Guess what? He couldn't do it. Point blank. Point blank. Dak illusion, we got to call it how it is. And I'm sure we would be beating Dak Prescott to death for the same throw. But Lamar Jackson gets protection. It's everybody else's fault. You're saying it's not Dak's fault. No. You may be talking about the apologists for Dak Prescott, but the media, they give all the blame to Dak. Every bit of it. They give Dak Prescott the business, Dak delusional. Now, you're not being truthful now. Now, you might be talking about Mark Holmes. You may be talking about Law Nation. You might be talking about Jay Tuck. You might be talking about me. You might be talking about Attack the Cowboys. You may be talking about us. But you're not talking about the media, bro. And you know you're not right. The media destroy Dak on everything he does. Even if it's right, they destroy. Dak Prescott get engaged to his fiance, and they say that's what distracted him this year. That's why I couldn't play. Josh Allen gets engaged to his fiance, and everybody says, "Ooh, good for him." Dak Prescott, it's got to be studied. This man gets no protection from anybody. Dak Prescott is the only black quarterback I know to where there is no such thing as off limits when it comes to Dak Prescott. Man, there are people online who wished that this man committed suicide with his brother, saying stuff like they glad his mama died. What? Say that about Lamar Jackson. Say that about Lamar Jackson. Say that about Jaden Daniels. Say something like that about Jaden Daniels pertaining to their family. Watch what people will do to people like that. Stuff got to be studied about Dak Prescott. It does. Dallas Cowboys 92. Hate to say it, but no way the NFL let 4 black quarterbacks have a shot at the Super Bowl, and I'm not a racist, just saying. Well, I can tell you this. Whether they're letting them do it or not, Dallas Cowboys 92. One thing we got to admit, I don't think this is an NFL problem. Jalen Hurts keeps doing this. Lamar Jackson keeps doing this. There's nobody stopping Lamar Jackson, and I don't want to say no one's stopping him, but he's the one that's making these bad throws. I mean, he's making these bad throws. I don't understand it. He's making them. Daniel M., Mark Andrews can stay in Baltimore. They're probably going to keep him. But I do think they need to make, I do think what Lamar Jackson did is wrong. That was a bad throw. It was a bad throw. It's a bad throw. It was just a bad throw. Now, I don't think he has a point on that, Wilson San Diego. I don't know what he's talking about. Who gives Dak Prescott a pass? Who? Because the only people you could be talking about are some content creators. But I've watched a lot of content creators for the Dallas Cowboys before I ever decided to just finally do this. There are so many Dallas Cowboy content creators that eat and destroy Dak on every little thing he does. Dallas Cowboy content creators. There are actually very few of us that, in my opinion, are actually truthful. If you look at what I do, I'm not just throwing up stuff. I'm showing you numbers. I'm showing you numbers. I'm bringing back to your memory the games. I'm bringing back memories of plays. I'm showing you facts. Attack the Cowboys. He does the same thing. Law Nation. He does the same thing. We bring facts when we're talking about Dak Prescott. But you get other people. They don't bring you facts when they talk about Dak Prescott. They just destroy him. On face value, they destroy him. Just like I did Jalen Hurts. I didn't destroy Jalen Hurts. What did I do? What did I do with Jalen Hurts? All I showed you was the facts. That's it. I don't know. The reality is you can't dispute me. Anybody who's played receiver, they know exactly what I'm saying. Lamar Jackson threw a bad pass. Period. In the story. There's no discussion. It can be a discussion, but it's actually no discussion. I played the position. And if I played the position on a high school level and understand this, what must those professionals understand? If anybody's being honest, they will tell you the same thing. Bad throw. Terrible throw. Czar Todd. Didn't I just say it? What else can they do? I don't know what else they can do. Y'all gonna have to explain it to me. I'm telling y'all, if the Cowboys put a super team around Dak Prescott and he don't win, I'm going to be the first one to tell you. What else can they do? Get Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts team, and he don't win within 3 years. I'm going to have to admit it. Well, they put a super team around him finally. What else can they do? Lamar Jackson has it all in. I mean down to great coaching, man. What else? What else can they do? I just don't understand it. What else can they do for him? But you know what I like about Jalen Hurts y'all keep talking about? We complaining about Jalen Hurts, but Jalen Hurts not complaining. All Jalen Hurts wants to do is win. That's it. He's not caring about stats. See, if I'm a quarterback, I want to run my team like a Fortune 500, a Fortune 500 company. You think about people who own those companies. They're not the smartest people. They're not the smartest person in the room. You know what they do? They put the smartest people in the room around them. That's what they do. Why? Because they want to be successful. And they know they can't do it on their own. They want to be successful. They want people who specialize in certain things, who can take them to a whole nother level that they could never get to on their own. And if I'm a quarterback, I've been telling y'all this, and I've been consistent. We don't have to argue whether or not Troy Aikman is a great quarterback or not. That's actually not the argument. But what cannot be argued is that Troy Aikman had a super team around him. That cannot be argued. It cannot be argued that Troy Aikman at almost every position on offense and defense for 4 years, the Dallas Cowboys literally had one of the best teams ever constructed in NFL history. You can't argue it. It's not about Troy Aikman being better than Jim Kelly, because Troy Aikman was great in his own right. He was a leader of men. Accountability. He became a reflection of Jimmy Johnson, the very coach he didn't like in the beginning. He became a reflection of him, and he grew to respect him and love him. He was a field general. But it wasn't because of Troy Aikman they were winning games. That language is foreign to Troy Aikman. That language is foreign. Troy Aikman was winning because they had the best team. And Troy Aikman did what they asked him to do, but they didn't ask him to be Superman. It was a very rare occasion. He worked with inside the confines of the team. Okay, we're a run-first team. Got it. I can throw it 35 times if you want me to, but probably no need. Okay, got it. You only need me to throw maybe 35 times once every 6 or 7 games? Got it. I'll turn around and hand this ball to Emmitt Smith 30 times if you want me to, if we'll win. That's Troy Aikman. That's what makes him great. And we're not giving Jalen Hurts that same credit. You couldn't even mention him in the same breath as Troy Aikman as it applies to playing quarterback in the traditional way as we think of playing quarterback. But when you think about how he plays quarterback, he's lethal. He's not going to put up the flashy, quote unquote. He'll put those flashy numbers up similar to Troy Aikman in a sense. He'll put those flashy numbers up every 6 to 7 games. Every 6 to 7 games. Jalen Hurts will have a game and you'll go, wow, he balled out today. What else do you want? What else do you want? One thing y'all might not admit, but you can't say this about Lamar Jackson. Can Lamar Jackson beat you in all kinds of ways? Can Lamar Jackson beat you in all kinds of ways? I'm not saying he can't, but can he? And have we seen it on a consistent basis? What's the knock? What is the knock on Lamar Jackson? The Buffalo Bills did it tonight. You take away his legs and you make him beat you through the air. You make him beat you through the air. You contain him. He may get loose 1 or 2 times, but you contain him for the most part, and you make him consistently make throw after throw after throw, because on one of those, you're either going to get him for a big sack, you're going to get him for an interception, or you're going to get him for a strip sack fumble, because Lamar Jackson, no matter what, he continuously tries to make things happen. He very rarely is going to throw the ball away. He's going to always try to make a play. You don't see that stuff from Jalen Hurts a lot of times. Jalen will throw it away. Jalen will fall down. He'll tell, oh, I can't get away. I'll fall down. I'm just telling y'all, he's playing within the confines, and that's all you can ask him to do. Yeah, Wilson, but guess what? They all do. They all blunder from time to time. They all do. Joe Burrow, you watch games this year, blunders. Throwing uncaused interceptions, blunders. He did it against the Dallas Cowboys. It happens. It happens to all of them. Patrick Mahomes threw interceptions in the Super Bowl. And Dak Prescott, you think about the Green Bay game, one of the problems I have with the Green Bay game, Dak Prescott, we got to understand, Dak Prescott actually didn't make the turnovers late. Dak Prescott made the turnovers early. And if you ask any team, okay, so if your quarterback is going to make some mistakes, you want him early or late? Okay, I want him early. If I get him early, maybe I can overcome him. Maybe I can overcome him. And if you got a real good defense like the Houston Texans, one of the things the Houston Texans did extremely well is when their team made blunders, the defense was good enough to say, don't worry about it. They won't even score. Some of them, they won't score. And at the very maximum, they'll get a field goal. Michael Parsons said this one time. He said the quarterback should be able to make 2 mistakes. He should. But 2 is the max. Typically, 3 will get you. 3 will do you in. 3 will do you in. And I will say against the Green Bay Packers, I do think, too, it's harder to come back. And I don't want to say it's harder to come back, but it's very difficult when some of the picks turn into sixes. Those are rough. The pick sixes are rough. They are. They will do you in. And that's what happened to Jared Goff. The pick six really did Jared Goff in. Once you get a team down by 10 points, it's hard. It's hard. But if you can stay within the game, and this is why I say they're not giving Lamar Jackson enough heat on this. Lamar Jackson made a bad throw, which goes along with the other two mistakes that he had, but he won't do it. People forget, you don't have to be Superman crazy like an athlete. No, you don't. You can be a bus driver and win a Super Bowl. Look at the Ravens' first ring. Trent Dilfer, the Buccaneers with Brad Johnson. It's it. And if you think about Jalen Hurts, let's be honest, he's a highly skilled bus driver. He is. Which in reality, Cam Newton said it best. They're all bus drivers. They're all bus drivers. They are. Dallas Cowboys 92. Not only did we run Zeke in the ground, we ran Zeke in the ground and we would not let him get healthy. The Cowboys have a tendency to bring their players back too early and then make them play at sometimes 80%. I truly believe this is why Michael Gallup is no longer in this league. I also believe this is one of the reasons why Trayvon Diggs is in danger of being out of this league in 3 years. I think he's in danger. Dak Prescott, there was one season people may not realize. Dak Prescott, I think it was a Green Bay game. I can't remember. It was the year that Dak Prescott overthrew Tavon Austin. Dak Prescott overthrew Tavon Austin. Had he made that throw against the Philadelphia Eagles, the Dallas Cowboys win that game. Well, people didn't realize is that 2 games or 3 games before that, the Dallas Cowboys had played the Green Bay Packers. And I forget the name of the Green Bay Packer player that had that real long hair. Man, this dude put a hit on Dak Prescott, and people still don't understand it. This dude put a hit on Dak Prescott. And what he did when he hit Dak Prescott, he turned him sideways to where his shoulder was straight across so that when he hit the ground, his shoulder hit and he tore something in Dak Prescott's shoulder. Now, a lot of people downplayed this, but it really affected them going forward, and they had a very hard time. Dak Prescott couldn't make throws the way that he needed to make throws. But the Joneses, they have a tendency to encourage their players to play hurt. And Dak Prescott played hurt that game. I think it was against Philly, and it wound up costing them. But the Cowboys do this a lot to a lot of their players. And this is one of the reasons why DeMarcus Lawrence, y'all might not realize it, but DeMarcus Lawrence basically said, I'm not playing hurt. I'm going to another team next year. Y'all not re-signing me, so I'm not going to play so y'all can use me up the way y'all did DeMarco Murray, use me up the way y'all did, as Dallas Cowboys 92 mentioned, Zeke Elliott. No, I'm going to get my body right, and I'm going to go somewhere else. But the Cowboys do this a lot, man. They encourage their players to play hurt. Let me go down some here. Wilson Todd, what's going on in the crib? Let me go back here. Brad Johnson in Dallas. No, he was in Tampa Bay. Gabe said A.J. Brown didn't look good today. Now, you said he had 2 crucial drops, with one of them being a touchdown. I don't know if it was weather or his lack of targets. A.J. doesn't look engaged with Philly anymore. Not good to me. Now, Gabe, you're on to something about A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown, this is why I mentioned him earlier. A.J. Brown, we have to understand, he feels like he's a top-flight wide receiver. And he probably is. He's frustrated because he can't put up the numbers that he wants to put up because, unfortunately, she's got to tell the truth. That's not Jalen Hurts' game. Jalen Hurts is not going to throw for 250 yards per game on a consistent basis. You're just not going to get that. If you're a wide receiver and you want to consistently catch you want to catch like 1,400 yards, 100 receptions, 10, 12 touchdowns, you better talk to your agent about getting out of Philadelphia. You're not going to accomplish that with Jalen Hurts. You're not. That's not the game with him. I'll tell you this. Y'all don't understand how much discipline Kellen Moore is showing. Do y'all really think Kellen Moore wants to do what he's doing? He's calling the plays that fit his quarterback. That's what he's doing. And Kellen Moore knows throwing the ball 25, 30 times a game with Jalen Hurts is not the answer. I'm going to tell y'all something. I'm not saying that A.J. Brown is a top 5 wide receiver. Some of you may argue that. I'd have to go back and really look at some stats and some tape. But I can tell you this. A.J. Brown is capable of more than this. A.J. Brown, Gabe, he's capable of more than this. 67 receptions, 1,079 yards, 7 touchdowns, 16. Man, A.J. Brown this dude is way more capable than this. He's way more capable than this. And the problem is, when you think about A.J. Brown and when you think about who Jalen Hurts is, the problem is Jalen Hurts is only going to give A.J. Brown 4 to 5 games per season where he's going to get 100 yards or more, 10 receptions. You know how I know? Look at this. I just think A.J. Brown was with another team. He could probably produce more than this. Problem is, I don't know if he wins more than this. So he missed some games. We do understand that too. What did he play here? Let's see. I know he missed some games. So he played 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So he played 13 games. Okay, he missed 4 games. But even inside of that, look at these games. He was 5 for 119. Now, understand this. He got a lot of these yards in this one big chunk play for 67, because that's how Jalen Hurts will typically hit you when he gets some of these big chunk plays. But other than that, it's kind of slim pickings. He was 6 for 9 in the second game, 116. Notice what happened. He had another big chunk play. He was 5 for 5, 89. Another big chunk play. 5 for 6, 84. I mean, just look at this. He literally only has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He only has 5 100-yard games. That's it. That's it. 5 100-yard games. A.J. Brown knows he's better than that. A.J. Brown probably with another team. A.J. Brown is probably a 100-yard per game wide receiver, especially if he's the number 1 receiver. But he's got to understand something. This is not how the Philadelphia Eagles is built. They're not built for wide receivers to get 100 yards each per game, 17 games, 15 of those, 14. Nope, that's not how they're built. The Philadelphia Eagles, like I keep telling y'all, and y'all going to find out what I'm telling you as you keep watching the Eagles, they're built to beat you all kinds of ways, especially with Saquon Barkley. They travel well. Only thing is now they're not going to have to travel. Czar, I know, man. I know. Azteca, though, he's making a point. I understand the point that he's making. It's the same point people make with the Brad Johnsons and the Trent Dilfers. But the issue is Jalen Hurts is doing something they never did. Jalen Hurts is looking like, unless something strange happens, Jalen Hurts is about to go back to the Super Bowl again. And last time I checked, neither one of them did that. Purple Soul says they always do that to Jalen. Same thing in college when everyone was so high on Tua. And what does he accomplish in the league? Nothing. He's not going to accomplish nothing. This man is made of paper mache. Tua, I'll be shocked if Tua is in the league in another 5 years. I'll be shocked. I will. Playmaker says if Kieran Williams don't fumble, the Eagles lose that game. You know what, though? And I get what you're saying, Playmaker. Boy, if was a fifth, we'd all be drunk. I love it. That's football. How many games can we say that about? How many games can we say if somebody didn't fumble the ball right there, or if that person didn't throw the interception right there, or if that person would have made that tackle? We can say that about a lot of games. But I think what helped cause that was how quick the Eagles were coming in that backfield. And to a bad exchange. I don't know. It seemed like that somebody lost sight of where they were either supposed to put the ball or where he was supposed to get the ball. But that's football, though. You know what? You tell me, Playmaker. I can deal with that stuff. See, that stuff right there I can deal with because that stuff just happens sometimes. There's a bad snap. Maybe the quarterback looks away. I mean, some of that kind of stuff happens from time to time. Bad thing is it's an inopportune time. But man, if it was a fifth, we'd all be drunk. It happened. It did. Bronco fans for life. Keep preaching. Yeah, I'm telling you, man. I'm just trying to keep the facts. Best quarterbacks in the NFC: Stafford, Jaden, Hurts. And it's strange again, Dak Delusional. You can tell me anything you want to, like I told my son. You can tell me anything you want to that these are the three best quarterbacks. I can tell you this. But of those three quarterbacks, Stafford has a Super Bowl. But where is he at this year? He's at home. I believe Jaden Daniels is going to be home next week. And I'm telling you, y'all might not believe me. These three peats in any sport, people do not understand how special Michael Jordan actually is. Three peats in any sport are difficult. Man, they are difficult. It takes a different mindset to three-peat in any sport. You're not just battling your opponent. Now you're battling your own psyche. Because when you are on the verge of a three-peat, you're battling your own psyche because you know we can't lose. If we lose, we don't get the three-peat. And the way you're playing and moving and proceeding, you're doing things differently. Man, you mess around like the Golden State Warriors, you'll fumble it. So many teams have been on the verge of those three-peats. They are hard mentally. Man, you better have a guy like Michael Jordan on that team. You better have a guy like Michael Jordan on that team. I'm telling y'all, man, these three-peats are difficult. They are. These three-peats are difficult. And when you know stuff like that is on the line, man, it does something to your head. You think about that year that the New England Patriots, they went 18-0. They're about to shatter the Miami Dolphin undefeated season record. They're about to shatter it. One bad throw is all it took. Hey, Broncos fan for life. As much as it irks me that the league wants to crown Josh Allen, I said it at the beginning of this thing. Man, Josh Allen is the scariest running quarterback in the league. Josh Allen has the ability to take games over with his feet because he's so big and strong. This is going to be a great game. You know what? I'm going to wait until later in the week to call it. I would not be surprised if the Bills beat the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm just telling y'all, man, these three-peats are hard. They do something to you mentally. They do. They do something to you mentally because you understand what's at stake. There are very few teams that can pull off three-peats. You can get there 3 times, but winning 3 times, that is tough treading, man. That's a whole different mental focus. It is. You keep ignoring that 2022 title game versus San Francisco. The 49ers didn't have their QBs. No, I'm not ignoring it. I remembered like yesterday. Do you know why they didn't have their QBs? Because the Eagles knocked him out. That's a part of the team. They put a knockout blow on Brock Purdy. No, we're giving credit to the defense for that. They knocked. I'm telling you. I don't know, playmaker, where you come from. But let me tell you something. Man, when your defense can knock a quarterback out, shoot. They protect these quarterbacks now, so you get very few opportunities to knock their block off. Man, they knocked Brock Purdy out, bro. Oh, I remembered like yesterday. I remembered like yesterday. If you don't think that's a part of the strategy, shoot, knock that joker out. Man, come on, playmaker. That's a dream come true. You get to knock out the quarterback? Shoot, knock him out. Shoot, I'm like Slick Rick. Knock him out the box, Rick. Knock him out, Rick. Shoot, you knocked that joker out the box. They knocked, I think it was his elbow, right? Shoot, I don't know what you talking about. Man, yeah, I remember that. I'm not discounting that. I'm not discounting that. That's a part of the reason. Hey, that's a part of the win. Let's see. I thought that was in 2022. You go back. Yeah, that was 2022. Hey, playmaker. Shoot. You don't think that's a dream come true? I love it. Knocked that joker out the box. Hassan Reddick. Knocked that dang on elbow. Hey, man, I don't want to end your career, but I want to end you in this game. I want to end you in this game. You do not get very many opportunities like that in this game. Back in the day, man, you got these kind of shots all the time. Not maybe the elbow shots, but man, back in the day, that was the name of the game. Knock the quarterback out. When I played football back in the day, knock the quarterback out. You make that joker see Tweety Birds. They weren't even talking about concussions back then. We just trying to knock them out, man. You got to hit on the quarterback? Oh, man. Boy, these days, this league is different because they don't want you hitting them quarterbacks. They don't want you hitting them quarterbacks. Shoot. Hey, man. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Knock that joker elbow out of place. I'm with it. I am. Wilson Todd. Jerry needs to get a GM from other teams. Yes. He does. And I'm going to tell you this. So, what's his name? The guy who's been working, Will McClay. Will McClay contract is up this season. I'm interested to see what they do with Will McClay. Because I think that there's teams out there that would hire Will McClay to be their GM. I would love to see Will McClay get an opportunity to be a GM and see what he could do without Jerry Jones over his back. Wilson Santiago, yep. Second attempt at the Super Bowl. You saying 2 attempts in 5 years. This is 2 times in 3. Man, dang, hey, Jalen Hurts, man, I'm telling you. What everybody gonna say if Jalen Hurts win the Super Bowl? And it won't be him winning it, it'll be his team. What everybody gonna say about him then? Gabe said, I don't think this version of Josh Allen with kid gloves have a chance in hell against Kansas City Chiefs. Boy, now, you said something right here. I don't know if the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen have a chance against the refs, Taylor Swift, and the NFL. It seemed like to me they want the Kansas City Chiefs to get there. But an entire game is hard to fix. So in order for the Bills to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, they got to make sure it don't be close. They have to make sure it's not close. They have to make sure that if they're going to beat the Chiefs, they got to literally go in there and beat the brakes off of them. Because if you get into a close game with the Kansas City Chiefs, it seemed like the NFL sent a memo out to the referees. Don't let anyone breathe on Patrick Mahomes. That seems to be the memo. Don't let anyone breathe on Patrick Mahomes. And so they call phantom calls on him, man. It is crazy. Yes, Purple Soul. Let me tell you, a lady at church, she always tell me, she say, if I knowed it, I'd have told it. And so now I tell her, I knowed it, so I told it. That's what I try to do. If I know the facts, I just try to tell it like it is. I try to tell it like it is. Let's see here. Yep. Dak was snubbed last year. Numbers looked way better than Lamar Jackson. And they're probably going to do the same thing to Lamar Jackson this year. Josh Allen, I will not be surprised, gets the MVP being second team All-Pro. I will not be surprised. And it makes me wonder, what I want to know is, y'all, and I haven't been able to find it, when are the MVP votes due? Because if I'm an MVP voter, it's a regular season award. Unless you get me to get my vote in by the end of the day of the last or the end of the Monday after the last game of the season. If you let me go and watch the playoffs, if I watch the playoffs, it may influence my decision for the MVP. So if they don't have their votes in, and I watch that game tonight, well, I give that to Josh Allen. It just really makes me wonder. It makes me wonder because my son was saying something that I thought was very interesting. He said that he thought they gave it to Lamar Jackson not because he had better stats, but because I think it was because partially of some of the games Lamar Jackson played down the stretch. And, he did his normal John Madden video game stuff. But my son said another part he think it was the fact that the Baltimore Ravens finished with a higher seed. And even that could be some validity. They look at who finishes with a higher seed. So I'm just wondering when that stuff goes in. I am. Purple Soul said on Twitter anyway, the hate is heavily directed at Andrews from both fans and media. Sad. Sad. It's absolutely sad. Two things can be true. Andrews dropped the ball, but it was a bad throw. Not only was it a bad throw, Purple Soul, somebody's got to tell me, after the night he was having, can somebody explain to me why somebody would think it was a good idea to put the ball in his hands at that moment of the game? That's stupid. Sometimes, man, you just got to know. Hey man, this dude ain't having a good game tonight. Let's not try to be smarter than everybody watching the game. Andrews is struggling. Let's live to fight another day. Don't throw him the ball. Heck no. Heck no. Yep. It's facts. That's facts. I don't know what else to tell you. You're stating, I guess I'm going to call you Captain Obvious on that one. Jared Goff and Lamar Jackson be great regular season quarterbacks, and they may carry more weight in the front office than most of their fan base. They are what they are. When the playoffs, when everything is on the line. Yep, it's true. And Gabe, I was talking to my wife today about this situation that you're talking about. And it is time. Anybody can argue anything they want to. Statistically, Dak Prescott is a top 5 quarterback. Win percentage, Dak is a top 5 quarterback, similar to Lamar Jackson. Tell me what makes Lamar Jackson a top 5 quarterback. His talent, his wins in the regular season. What makes Dak Prescott a top 5 quarterback? You can tell me anything you want to. People keep telling me how bad of a play caller Kellen Moore is and why they don't want him here. So now you're going to have to explain to me, how is it you're saying Kellen Moore is a bad play caller? Dak Prescott put up video game numbers. I think Mike McCarthy is a terrible play caller. Dak Prescott put up video game numbers. Dak Prescott, top 5, every statistical category over the last 5 years when healthy. Dak Prescott, second highest win percentage of any quarterback in the league over the last 5 years. So you cannot argue that Dak Prescott is not top 5. You can, but your argument falls short based on the stats and based on what we're watching. Points per game, everything. Dak's been killing it. But Dak Prescott is coming up now on year, 10? It is time for Dak Prescott to get over the hump. And Jerry Jones is going to have to help him do it. I want y'all to understand this. We're going to have to stop looking backwards. This franchise has to stop looking backwards. It is time for this franchise to look forward. The losses to the San Francisco 49ers are not our present or our future. The loss to the Rams, the loss to the Packers, these are not our future or our present. Jerry Jones is now going to have to get in the present if we want to win in the future. You let Mike McCarthy walk. We're done with this era. We have to all be done with this era. Okay, it's over. There's nothing we can do about it. Anything we say about Dak Prescott from this day forward, the real deal is this: none of it matters. The only thing that matters now is 2025. That's it. Jerry's going to have to think just like this. And I don't know if he can. Nothing else matters. Mike McCarthy, no longer here. Jerry, I think you made a mistake. It's not the mistakes you make. It's what you do after the mistakes. And Jerry has been making mistakes for 30 years. The issue is this: what will Jerry do after this mistake? I'm waiting and I'm watching. I believe that everything is Jerry. I believe everything Jerry is seeing. I believe it's going to make Jerry do something. And Jerry has put himself in position to where he has to do something too. You don't have 30 unrestricted and restricted free agents and not do something. You're going to have to. You're going to lose players in key positions that you're not willing to pay. You're going to have to do some supplementing in the draft, and you're going to be forced to do something in free agency. They're going to be forced. There is no way they sign all 30 of those players. Again, I don't even think they signed 10. The Cowboys are going to go in the draft, and they got 10 draft picks. Now, I'm hoping they trade a couple of them and try to get back in the fourth. But if they don't, they're going to have to use all 10 of those picks to help supplement the team. They are. And if I'm Dallas Cowboys and Ashton Genty and Abdul Carter go off the board, and if I can trade back with somebody and still get a Marion Hampton, still get one of the 2 running backs from Ohio State, there are others on that list. If I can't get McMillan at wide receiver, I'm trading back, and I'll get the second best wide receiver or the second or third ranked running back. I'm sorry, you can't lose with this running back class. You can't. You can't lose with it. You go in that draft, you get you more draft picks so you can supplement the team even more through the draft, and you just get your team young. And then you take this team and then you mix this team with what you signed. You go into free agency. You get you another couple of players, maybe 3, maybe 4 even. You get a couple on the cheap, and then you make some significant moves. You make some moves before the trade deadline. You maybe 1 or 2 more players. And then you come into 2026 and you're ready. You're ready. You get you those skill players. The Cowboys need, again, have y'all noticed how good CeeDee Lamb is? Yeah, we got him in the first round. How good Zeke was? Yeah, we got him in the first round. Go back in the draft again and reload. Get you another wide receiver to go beside CeeDee Lamb, first round. Get you another running back, first or second round. Wide receiver, I don't care, first or second round. Don't go below the second round on a wide receiver. You get your wide receiver no later than the second. I would prefer the first. Unless Ashton Genty is there, if you want him, get him. But if you don't get Ashton Genty, please get a top flight wide receiver. No one below 6'2". No one below a 4.5 40. We already got a 4.5, 4.6 40 guy in CeeDee Lamb. They need a burner, 4'3", 6'2", 210, 215 wide receiver, wide catch radius, and can absolutely fly. The Cowboys can get back in contention real fast, but I think it's going to take them to 2026 to get the team that they want. Next year, they make the step to get the team. They're going to make the step to get the team, but I think 2026 is when they're going to really do it. Jerry Jones, what's going on? Jerry Jones, 1993. Wilson Todd says Green Bay had a young coach, and they went to the playoffs. Why not Dallas? I'll tell you this, Wilson Todd, we're going to talk about this week because there's less to talk about with football. We're narrowing it down now. My top 5 coaches right now for the Cowboys. Let me see. Top 5. Ben Johnson. Aaron Glenn. I might not even have a top 5 yet. Robert Saleh. Wouldn't mind him being in the running. I actually have Kellen Moore as an honorable mention. I don't have him in the top 5. He's an honorable mention. Oh, Steve Spagnuolo and Nagy. No, Steve Spagnuolo, that would be number 4. Number 5, who is actually number 1, but I really don't have no choice but to put him in number 5 because I think it's such a long shot. I think the only coach that can come in here and change the way Jerry does things is one Deion Sanders. And if it's not Deion Sanders, Ben Johnson. Because he's already put it out there that he's only coming under these conditions. So that's my top 5. I'm going to go over that again later on in the week, but that's my top 5. It is. Willie T. G, is it Hurts or the team around him? He's a part of the team. He's a part of the team. It's both. He's a part of the team. This is what we're missing, Willie T, in Dallas. We don't have a team. Yeah, we need to put players around Dak. But those players need to be a team. And that's what we're missing. We need a team. And Jalen Hurts, it's the entire team. I've mentioned 3 different things. We say it's all Saquon Barkley. Can't be true. They went to the Super Bowl in 2022. Their defense plays extremely well. Playmaker mentioned it. The Eagles' defense has actually been good for what? At least 3 years? Yeah, I remember Brock Purdy wasn't in the game. They knocked his butt out. Man, I'm telling y'all, I'm old school. Man, that's the dream shot. Man, who don't dream of knocking out the other team's quarterback in the playoffs? Knock him out. Knock that joker clean out. Don't win his career, clean his clock. You clean that joker clock. I don't want him tearing his ACLs, but at the same time, I didn't want Brock Purdy to tear his UCL. But you got to think about it. That's one of those injuries that if a quarterback isn't careful, he is going to get, because a lot of times when they come in, they try to swipe that arm. And boy, if he's going full speed, anything can happen. No, I'm not. I'm about knocking them quarterbacks out, man. No, Lamar, you're right, Dak Delusional. He doesn't have wide receivers, but his tight end core is probably the best in the league. I'll take that joker's tight ends minus Andrews. I mean, and don't sleep on Zay Flowers. Do not sleep on Zay Flowers. He is and they missed him today. They did. There's no doubt about it. But at the end of the day, Dak, you know this to be true. It's a battle of attrition. It's not about sometimes being the best player or the best team. Can you be the most healthiest team? That matters. That absolutely matters. Yeah, this hurt him right here, Dak. This hurt him. Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman is pretty good, but Zay Flowers hurt him. Zay Flowers being out absolutely hurt this team. But let me tell you something. When you talk about tight ends, hey, man. Hey. Likely, Kolar, Andrews, for all intents and purposes, I thought he was pretty good. But this dude, Isaiah Likely especially, this dude is a freak, man. I don't even see how they classify this guy as a tight end. This dude is literally a hybrid between a wide receiver and a tight end. If there was anybody getting the ball, it was him. This dude is 6'4", 247. Man, I watched this dude play, and this dude is serious with it, man. This dude, man, I don't even understand how they got that dude listed as a tight end. But yeah, they do got some receivers. But they also figured out that wasn't the answer, because Lamar has 8 with these tight ends. I think including Andrews. Andrews had a bad night. I don't know if it was the cold or what, but it got to him. But this Isaiah Likely, I do not understand for the life of me, Dak. Why did they not make him the primary receiver? He is the most dependable tight end on the squad. At least in watching, he's the most dependable. Gabe said if Jalen Hurts is healthy, Eagles will go to the Super Bowl. Facts. Facts on top of facts. Bottom line, he's not beating Dan Quinn and Jaden Daniels with only his arm and being no threat to run the ball whatsoever. Yeah. I hope there's nothing strained. None of that. I'm tired of these injuries, but it's a part of the game. I want him to be healthy when they play. I'm elated either way. I think it'll really be crazy if the Commanders go. Jerry Jones will lose sleep for 3 weeks. That joker will lose sleep for 3 weeks, boy. Revelation, what's going on? Jerry said at the owner meetings, they were all in. Oh, yeah, I remember that winning this year. Yeah, they what they were all in on, and Dak finally explained it. No, what they were all in on was the young players they had. He ain't got no choice this year. There's no way he signs all 30. There's no way he signs all 30, y'all. What you're saying about Lamar is the same about Hurts. I don't think so, because Hurts has been further. Don't get me wrong. If you're talking about having a good team, but think about it. Hurts has been further. We're not saying the same thing about Hurts that we're saying about Lamar. Lamar Jackson has not won enough in the playoffs. Jalen Hurts has won in the playoffs. He has. I mean, he's been to the Super Bowl. Yeah. I mean, you think about this. Man, this is crazy. Jalen Hurts right now has 4 playoff wins. Jalen Hurts has 4 playoff wins. Let me make sure this is updated. Let's see. Jalen Hurts has 4 playoff wins in 7 seasons. 7 playoff wins in 7 seasons. In 2022, he lost the wild card game. 2023, divisional, NFC championship, and a Super Bowl. This year, let's see. This year, he got the was that Tampa Bay they beat? I don't know what that is. They beat Green Bay. They beat Green Bay in the wild card. Okay, so in 2024, it looks like they went. Okay, so in 2024, that's what it is. They went, but got beat by Tampa Bay. So, here he is in 2025. He's 4 of 7. He's got 2 already. I think he gets another one. He's going to be 5 of 8. Dude's got a pretty good playoff record, man. He's got a pretty good playoff record. We're talking 7 seasons. Got a pretty good playoff record. I got a feeling he's going back to the Super Bowl. I think the Washington Commanders team is going. I think the Philadelphia Eagles team is going to be too much. I do. All right, guys. Let me read a couple more of these. Chanel, what's going on in the crib? She said you can't handle the truth. Jared, what does Dak have? CeeDee Lamb? That's it. Dak only has CeeDee Lamb. And as it stands, I'm pretty sure when the new season starts, it'll be CeeDee Lamb. That's it. They're probably going to cut a couple of those receivers. They're going to do all this stuff in the draft. All of it. A stacked team in the NFL would be the NFL's version of a super team. Dak Prescott has never had that. He's had regular. Yeah, Dak has had regular good teams. But I'll tell you this. The Philadelphia Eagles, stacked team. Detroit Lions, stacked team, got injured. Baltimore Ravens, you got to explain it. Stacked team, failure. Wilson Todd, they're going to have to lose to do that. I don't think they'll ever be that low in the draft. Yeah, Jerry, when it comes to getting players, Jerry is the worst in the NFL. He is, for sure. What's going on, Chanel? Good to see you. All right, y'all. I'll be back tomorrow around 6:30. I'll let y'all watch the Fish Report. I'm trying to not infringe upon the times of other content creators. So I'll be on tomorrow. That's just going to be my regular time. I'll be on tomorrow at 6:30 unless there is some breaking news, and I'll be on any time before then if there's some kind of breaking news on the Cowboys. Having top 10 in every group. It's pretty hard to do that now. Gee, my JC search has 20 people. Oh, he has 20 people, but I ranked the 5. You're talking about coaches. Okay. Ben Johnson, yep, with you. Aaron Glenn, yep, with you. Deion Sanders, yep, with you. Kingsbury, yes, bring him in. And Todd Monken, right? We were just talking about him the other day. I have to remember who he is. Yeah, that's a good list. Fans, I want you to remember this. The Cowboys and their drafting has been terrible, especially since Mike McCarthy has got here. Yeah, I'm still working on it, Chanel. I got a way to do it. The problem is I don't like the fact the one I'm trying to use, you have to have an access code. And from what my understanding is, now y'all correct me if I'm wrong. When other people are using the lines, they're not having you to put in an access code, are they? I know I'm a little bit ahead of you, but Chanel, do they get you to have an access code? Because the one that I got suggested to use, I've been trying to use it, but it's asking for an access code. Okay, so you said I will work on helping you with that. Okay, so is it an app that I need to get? Because the app that I got suggested, it's asking for a passcode. Let me stop the press. Is there an app I can get for my iPhone? Because if you can get that to me, I can start working on it tonight, and then we can test it out. We can test it out tomorrow. I can get my sons to help me test it out. I can get my son to help me out. We can test it out because I got 3 of them here, and we can all test it out tomorrow before I come on. So, Chanel, if you can hear me, I know I'm a little bit probably ahead of y'all, but if it's an app, let me know the app, and I'll download it tonight. Okay, what's the name of the app? Send me the name of the app and I'll download it tonight. Because the one I got right now, it's the one that Boss Cowboy suggested to me was the free conference call thing, but it's asking for the access code. Okay, so wait. When you say yes, G, they're asking for an access code when you do the call-in shows on other people's shows? Because I really want to get the call-in part going. Okay, Dak, you said StreamYard. Now, see, I use Mac, so I use Ecamm Live. Now, Ecamm Live, I'm going to be working on this though for the members. On Ecamm Live, I'm going to be inviting some of the members to do some video, come on for some video stuff. Yeah, I'm going to get the members to come on for some of the video stuff. But I don't use StreamYard, but I do use, forgot the name of it. Okay, you said hit up Law Nation. I'm going to have to. Hey, let me tell you something. And this is no knock. This is no knock on Law or anybody else. But people in this game, Chanel, I think they kind of want you to earn your stripes, because sometimes you'll reach out to certain people and it's like, they don't kind of see like you, I don't know what it is, but it's like when you're smaller, people don't want to really, give you all that stuff. I don't know. They don't want to give you all that stuff. But like I said, Boss gave me something, but I noticed when I used to go on Boss in the past, I never noticed where he was giving an access code. Because I can do it. I mean, I can do the number and put the access code right there on the screen. I mean, I guess if people don't mind doing an access code, it's all good. It's all good. Okay, you said Law uses the correct one. Yeah, I've noticed that Law, I haven't noticed where he's asking for an access code. Yeah, I noticed you hadn't, I hadn't seen that. But my email, My email is on my channel. Let's talk Cowboys at gmail.com. Hit me up on that if you got some. Okay, you say you know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. Yeah. So hit me up on my email and let me know some more details. But like I said, the one boss gave me, it's an access code. So you call the number in and then it tells you to put the access code in. So if people don't mind putting in that access code, I guess. Oh yeah, I definitely want y'all to come on and cook. Yeah, that'll save my vocal cords. Trust me. Oh yeah, you should. Why not, Chanel? You definitely should. Now I know, like setting up podcasts and stuff. I've been doing that, so I know a lot of ins and outs on that stuff. If you ever need some help on that, I got plenty of stuff on. I can help you with plenty of stuff on equipment and stuff. My only issue is typically on the software side. I've noticed that the call-in stuff, you either going to pay money, which it all depends on how much it costs. I wouldn't mind paying it, but I just hadn't seen anything that where it's cheap. I mean, that stuff, man, they be charging you about a minute. But the one I use, the one boss turned me on to is free conference call, and it's free. It is. Only problem is I've noticed that it's asking for the access code. Everybody who comes into the conference room, they have to put the access code in. So I don't know. I may just try it with that. But like I say, hit me up on that email if you need to. Hey, Jerry, did you notice I dropped the video on Shady McCoy. Man, I had to give him credit, though. Jared, I had to give Shady credit, man. Shady finally came out and admitted that Dak Prescott was a good quarterback. I had to give him his props. I had to give him his props, Jared. I had to give him his props. So I may let him make it for a little while longer until we get further into the offseason. I want to see what that joker say. Let me put that video in. I don't know. You might have already watched it. But Shady, bro, I had to give him a pass just for a minute, because Shady said he talked about Dak Prescott, and he was talking about how he think Dion could bring the dog out of him. I'm like, okay. Wait a minute. Playmaker said, man, ain't nobody trying to hear Dak delusional talking nonsense. Playback said ain't nobody trying to hear it. He said ain't nobody trying to hear it, boy. Yeah, the one the boss gave me is for phones. Yeah, it's an app called Free Conference Call. From all intents and purposes, it works pretty good. Only thing is it asks you for the access code. Yeah, Daniel M., the head coach, is going to be vital. It's going to be vital. It is. No matter how much Jerry intervenes, the head coach situation is crucial. It is. It's crucial. Yeah. But you know what? He backed it up too. He said that Dak he think would be good with he said he think Dak would be very good with Deion Sanders. He did. Yeah, he did. And the thing James Jones said that goes along, for example, Dak delusional, he said, there's nothing else Dak can prove in the regular season. I agree. He said that Deion, he believes, can be the very one that help Dak get over the playoff thing. But you know what? I forgot. I was mentioning my top 5, Daniel M. Man, I forgot. Man, I got to put Doug Peterson in that joint, man. I got to put Doug Peterson in there. Doug Peterson has had a lot. He's had a lot of playoff success. He has. May have to get a coach from the NCAA. Well, if they do, that would probably be Deion. I got Google Voice. The problem with Google Voice is it doesn't do the conference call thing right. That was the first thing I turned to. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit up Boss again and see what he doing. see exactly what he's doing so I can figure it out. Yeah, I got Google Voice. Yeah, I got that already. Okay. I'll check into that right there. Because what the free conference call does, it's actually a conference call. It actually puts you in a lobby. And that's what I like about free conference call. But hey, at the end of the day, if nobody minds putting in an access code, I might just do it like that until I can get another route. Marlon Brando. Marlon Brando would be screaming and hollering about Dak Prescott. Yeah, I thought about that too, Jared, because I'm like, man, you do these call-in shows, boy. Oh, man. I want people not to be saying crazy stuff. Daniel says, Doug Peterson is fine, but he's in the same HC that won a Super Bowl with Foles. Yeah, it's got me wondering. Miss Matrix, you probably talked about it in detail, but I'm late. I don't want Kellen Moore as a head coach, but would he be the worst option? He has deep playoff experience now. Yeah, I think Kellen Moore's a little bit different than he was with Dallas. And I also think that I don't think Dan Quinn learned from what happened in Dallas. I think what we're watching with Dan Quinn is Dan Quinn learned from what he dealt with when he lost to the New England Patriots. I do. Yeah, Chanel, that's kind of what like I said, I would be worried about people calling. But I tell you what I'm going to do. Like I said, when I get the memberships up, I'm going to be putting some people on sometimes on like videos and stuff like that. So, when I get that all up and going, I'll send you a link. You can get your feet wet at doing some videos, and then you can set your own thing up. I mean, it's really not a lot to it. It don't even take all the stuff that I have. See, I got Restream. Now, I was noticing that that's what I was looking for. I didn't see Restream. I'm going to have to go back and look at Restream. I don't use Restream like I used to, because I used to broadcast my Bible studies on Restream to all these different platforms, but now I don't do it as much. I'm going to go back and look at Restream. They've had some very good upgrades. So I was looking to see if they had a call-in part, but I didn't see it. I'll go back and look at it tonight because they have really added some great upgrades. And I may start actually acclimating that into the show too. I'm getting ready to do a whole new graphic design of the whole setup here in the next 3 weeks. Yeah, we gonna be under construction even in the studio in this room, and then the room outside of that. We're turning that pole part into a studio, so everything gonna look different. By March. Yeah, we gonna have it banging. We're gonna get this thing built up. All right, hey, I'll be back tomorrow. Chanel, be back on the show around 6:30, and I'll let you know what I found out. And hit me up on my email. You can see it on my channel. Hit me up on my email if you got any more details. All right, guys. Y'all get some sleep. I'll see y'all tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Unless something happens and y'all see me early. Until the next time, let's talk Cowboys. We talk facts. Peace.